No, ladies and gentlemen, you're not seeing things. We are back here live on Sportswire Radio, and we are ready to talk all things related here. In fact, we're so excited to talk, I was echoing in the background. But certainly, we are ready to talk all things related to the world of SmackDown, get you on the road to SummerSlam, what's going on in AEW, who knows what else. And I'm going to be back with some guys that haven't been on this platform in a hot skip in a minute. One guy, the last time I seen him, he's got a haircut since. He's going to talk about, I'm sure, a whole list of other things going on in the world. He's our senior wrestling analyst. He even, for a brief period, dabbled in the world of wrestling. Mr. Randy Dillon, Shane Davidson, and Alan Michaels. Guys, before I'm about to choke, how you doing?
Happy to be back.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to be back. Actually,
Doing pretty good, Tom.
Well, never have Fritos corn chips again before you go on the air, because every time I have these corn chips, they get stuck in my mouth. And we're about to yes.
Are you eating just plain Fritos or?
It was plain Fritos, yeah. I needed
Tom,
something.
that's diabolical.
Well, I tell you why. Because I got a lot to say about you, actually, because I watched you on my screen yesterday. Here's the reason why. Because I needed to get my mouth undry. So I figured I'm having a big gulp. I'm having a few chips. It'll keep my stomach going. And, boy, big mistake. That shouldn't have happened, because literally, I don't know how I got through. That was probably the worst intro I've done in 5 years. I mean, that's probably my worst intro. But I was able to just get through it. I didn't want to fumble and go, how you guys doing? So at least I was able to get the names out. But gentlemen, now that I'm alive still, what's going on? A lot in the world of wrestling and SmackDown, AEW, Road to SummerSlam. It's, 2 weeks away until SummerSlam. Boy, time is flying. I remember it was like yesterday we were talking about the road to WrestleMania, and can Cody finish the story? And he finished the story, but it seems like the bloodline could very well figuratively and literally look to maybe finish him, period. And let's start with Mr. Randy Dillon, because I haven't seen you on my screen in ages. I've seen Alan a couple of times here and there. But, Randy, what was your impressions on the way SmackDown ended and this road to SummerSlam involving a...
So Tom, with everything that happened on SmackDown, I would say the card is pretty much set. Everything is finally building up to what happened. I think we're expecting lots of firework. Like, I'm excited for Logan Paul versus LA Knight. I think LA
That was
Knight's
a good
finally,
segment tonight. That was a good segment. That was really good.
he's finally gonna look like he's gonna get his big moment. The bloodline, listen, Paul Heyman said last year the bloodline had like 9 more innings, and we were like, yeah, right. And literally they have 9 more innings with everyone that keeps coming, with Jacob Fatu, with Tama Tonga, Tong Lo, and who else is now Solo running the shots, like, and then putting up for what eventually should be a Roman Reigns Jimmy Uso return at SummerSlam and help Cody, because they keep taking everyone out. The one thing I would say that is interesting on SmackDown is, where are they pushing Tiffany Stratton? Because she had the promise to become a world champion. They really value her so high, but I don't see her cashing in on Bailey unless Nia Jax turn on her. I don't see her really cashing in between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan on Raw. So
I have a few things to say on that. Because we'll get to that in a little while. But yeah, Tiffany Stratton, you like her losing today? You like the minor upset there?
I don't know, because I just feel like I'd rather get her get some momentum, but it also puts in the backhand, because Bailey said this, I think, last week on SmackDown. No one has ever failed to cash in the Money in the Bank on the women's side. So could Tiffany be the first? Is that kind of a seed already planning there? I hope not, but I'm not too sure.
You smiling there, Alan Michaels, Mr. Trendsetter, always looking to stay trendy. What would you like to say?
You cannot have Tiffany Stratton lose this briefcase. You cannot. Okay, we've already saw Drew lost it within the first couple hours of him having it. She cannot lose that briefcase. And
how about we've seen guys in the past that have, how about that guy Theory, right? Whatever happened to him? Remember that? He still hasn't really recovered from that.
No, he hasn't.
Baron Corbin. There are guys that shot their shot and They didn't even come close to firing. So
Yeah, the worst one was probably Damian Sandow.
Oh my,
Like,
Damian Sandow, they didn't know what they were doing.
that's a
It
name
should
I'd
have been
like to
Cody.
forget.
Everyone.
That's a name I'd like to forget on Sportswire. But then again, we'd like to have him on the platform. If he's available Friday nights at 10, we'll take him as an analyst.
Yeah, I agree, Alec. I think they can't let it fail on Tiffany, but I feel for Tiffany it's going to be a long stretch before she cashes in. I see her more like
I
Damian
agree.
Priest, where they're going to do the long burn with her, long road down, where she's going to cash in very late. She's not going to cash in right away. On the sense with McIntyre, listen, I think what they did with McIntyre failing the cash in was perfect because they finally were able to involve Seth Rollins back into the whole feud, which I know we'll get talking to later. But I think that was the right call there.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I hated it. Absolutely hated it.
We're live, Alan. Really, lying wouldn't really be the best way to
Yeah,
go.
can I lie? That I don't know. Money in the Bank was my favorite as a kid. Like I look forward to that every single year, and to see it get wasted, it bothers me, man. Like that's supposed to be like. I don't know. I grew up watching Edge cash in, watching CM Punk cash in, watching these cool, dope cash ins, and then to have it squandered like that just was like a slap in the face.
Well, also just one thing on going back to Stratton. We'll certainly get to you, Shane Davidson, in a minute. But Stratton's aligned with Nia Jax. So if Nia Jax somehow beats Bayley, and I'm not sure where we're going to go with that necessarily, it wouldn't make sense for Tiffany Stratton to turn on her friend. They're aligned. We talked about the Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan situation. We'll definitely, I'm sure, talk about that, and maybe Dom Mysterio getting some sympathy almost. We'll certainly go there, but there really is no place for her just yet, unless I guess Bayley would win and afterwards. But even then, it doesn't make sense. So I think Tiffany should stay put with it if you want to push it. I don't know, Survivor Series, but the way WWE has done things with their champions, it's not even what it was, let's say 7 or 8 years ago, or maybe the championship reign would last, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months on average. Now they tend to last. We saw with Roman, Rhea's reign probably would have still continued if it wasn't for the injuries. By and large, champions now, they get a good run. And also, I think the other question will be is the whole Netflix thing. WWE goes to Netflix in January with Raw. So do you want to keep your champions that long? Obviously, we know SmackDown is going to USA, so you're going to have that period of time where SmackDown and Raw are going to be on USA together. So maybe it doesn't make any sense right now anyway to change hands on the champions, especially on the women's side. Am I missing something, or do we want to?
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Tom. I think it's the best move for them right now because, like you said, Alan said, like Tiffany had so much potential, but there's no place to put her right now. I think everyone's thinking when Damian Priest last year was going to cash it in, and they were just thinking he
But
should
they
cash
waited
in.
a while for Priest to do it. Priest.
Same with Edge. I think people forget Edge's first round when he first won the Money in the Bank. He didn't cash it in until January. He won it in April. So I think in order for Money in the Bank to be very effective, like the only one who really took Money in the Bank outside was RVD, who cashed in a one night stand.
I was thinking about that, but but I think that's a different circumstance because it was like lightning in a bottle. They had the ECW one night stand. They had that moment, everything crystallized where it just really, when you look in wrestling history, that'll never be replicated. That's something that you can't, you go back and we'll talk about that or not, maybe talk about what after or want to forget about what after, but that's a totally separate situation. But I guess the one difference I would say with Edge before I get to current events is that I guess Edge had already been a made man, whereas with Priest, it was kind of like, it hung. You were waiting for that moment. Almost like with you, Alan. You're trying to pick your moment there. And I was still kind of perplexed at what exactly you were doing running into the main event of Rampage 166. But maybe we'll get into that in a little while. But for you, Shane, good to be with you. Obviously, yes, you're here. And I know we see some comments and always appreciate the lighting. And what do you think on some of these things? Obviously, we're talking about Tiffany Stratton right now, has the Money in the Bank, has the briefcase on the women's side. Does she cash in right away? Does she maybe wait? I mean, what is your impression on some of these things, and anything else you want to add?
I'm gonna have to go with Alan Michaels on this situation.
Really?
Simply because Money in the Bank is like it's your golden ticket. It's the golden ticket opportunity, and for it to be wasted on Damian Priest like that, and like him not able to carry it on for a while, and him actually get an opportunity at World Heavyweight Championship gold, I just think it's stupid. They just made a joke out of it at that point.
Okay, yeah, I think that's what it was. Anything else you guys want to add particular to that? Did you guys like the Bailey and Nia segment? I mean, I'm sure Randy knows about it, but everybody was talking about some of the things Nia said. Well, 3 initials about Bailey, and I don't know how much I can repeat about that on the air, but I'm sure that most people that might look at things a certain way might have kind of got the hint. But what did you think about that segment? Kind of the build up, at least just on the women's end for a minute or two.
I think it was smart because I think they're going back in time because this is so learned. You go back, Nia's first big NXT match was against Bailey, and
They talked about the 10-year history, which I thought was
yeah,
good. They talked about that history, that build up, who's changed, what's going on, and are you ready for them? I thought that was good. Good point.
exactly. So I think this is really like something where you watch their first match, and I think this is a testament to Nia as well, like how she's really changing Bailey, how much she's come, because Bailey I always felt was kind of like the shadow of Becky, Sasha, and Charlotte. She
Of
was
those
kind of
4
like
horsewomen, yeah, she was the one. If you think about the success of them, Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte, I mean, no question that Bailey definitely didn't have the same amount of success. Although if we would have looked at Bailey outside of that, just on her own, we would have said, boy, she was one of the most successful women over the past decade. But because she came into that group, it's almost like how you might look at the Shield. You got Rollins, Roman, and Ambrose. Now Moxley, and you would probably say what Roman and Seth would be 1 and 2, and you look at Moxley, aka Ambrose, you'd say, well, he didn't have as much success. But if you judged him individually, even though a lot of people have their opinions about him in the IWC land, he would still have had one of the more successful body of works over the past decade. Kind of a similar point there.
no, exactly. And then just going back to Nia, like I think everyone like she's put so many bad tastes in mouth where I think now like this is a Nia Jax we should have seen coming out to NXT, but she got pushed so quick right away. You can definitely tell she wasn't proper, she wasn't ready, and now the matches she's had with Rhea Ripley, the performance that she had elsewhere, like she's proven like she can do the work safely. She's no longer a
Let me,
danger.
it's funny you said that. And I want to ask you guys all this question. And what's interesting here in this panel is that all 3 of you have actually some wrestling experience. All 3 of you are actually trained. So I could actually ask this question. I know I'm going to get probably a pretty competent answer. Nia Jax last year, I remember we did a lot of these streams. Randy, you were on a lot of them. Maybe Alan, you came on some of them here and there, but especially this calendar year. There was a lot said about Nia Jax being put in these big spots. Do you guys think Nia Jax as a wrestler has improved since then? And that's why we're seeing her back, let's say, in a top spot here, more or less?
Yeah, I think she's definitely put in the work to get back to where she's at, and I also think she's kind of getting the Big Show treatment a little bit. Like,
what do you mean by that? Interesting there.
The Big Show treatment, like she goes from heel to a face, heel to a face.
Oh, because she's in almost like no man's land.
And also, she's always used to put somebody over. She's always constantly putting somebody, like she put Rhea Ripley's title reign. It makes it a little bit more legitimate. They take out the big, the big heel. She's constantly Jade Cargill in the Rumble.
I don't want to say jobber to the stars, but that person to elevate and
kind of like what Big Show did. Big Show back in like the mid 2010s was kind of putting everybody over.
He was there, he was believable, but you didn't really think
had a couple title reigns. You know,
yeah. His title runs, you would never said, "Oh my God!" Throughout his career, sure, he was a champion. I don't know what, half a dozen times, but you never were like, "Wow, he was a great champion." You would never like. Another example would be Kane. Kane would be another example. He was a champion.
I would say more of the Kane than Big Show because I felt like Big Show too many times. Because Kane was stable as a heel. I know they made Nia face once, but now like they've consistently kept her as a heel, and I don't think she's gonna go back face. I think they realize with the woman division and how she is, she's a perfect heel. Why do you not want to? Why should we change that way? And I think Big Show always said, "Listen, I'm a giant. Why am I not acting like a giant rather than a lovable person?" So I think Nia Jax fit more of that Kane resiliency, where Kane was always that bad guy, that scary person, but would put talent over.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting statement. Okay, so Nia, we think is obviously better in this role than last year, but overall, don't think that she's going to beat Bailey. Not going to ask you guys about the BBL reference. I'm not going to go there on that. I think I got the idea on Tiffany Stratton. Let me go real quick. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair. They're in this tag team situation, but I think the world is wondering, when is the shoe going to drop on this?
I don't think it's going to be SummerSlam. It might be Bad Blood.
Yep, I agree with Alan
Well,
Michaels.
2 weeks to SummerSlam. It wouldn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense.
They do it now.
Yeah, no, I think with Jade, like they're really wanting to get this right with her, like because there's been reports. I think there was speculation over the internet where like, oh my goodness, she's so unsafe. But I don't think that's the case. I really think they're the reason she's with Balor. They want her to absorb as much as she can from her when she gets that push. Because obviously, I think Jade's going to turn heel and she's going to be an epic heel.
Well, I think that's the obvious move, right? Because she's come into the company, and Bianca's been this household star. She's a worldwide figure. She's obviously somebody in mainstream media, and what better way to get over the up-and-coming talent is to obviously attack her, turn on her, and basically try to talk about how, she's been sidetracked and she's done so much to help Bianca, or the jealousy angle. So that would make the most sense. I mean, I'm almost waiting for you to do it, Alan Michaels, on your supposed new best friend, Russell Cooper.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa.
I gotta say something real quick on you, Al, because I do want to ask you on Jade Cargill, because I gotta say something. I'm watching Rampage 166 yesterday, and I see Alan Michaels talk about names like D'Angelo the Flame. He talks about Russell Cooper, but I was waiting for him to say Tom Rice, because here's why. Because Atomic Titan, yes, the Hardcore King. I'm not gonna ask you thoughts on that. But he mentioned Sportswire Radio. He mentioned specifically Sportswire Radio. And I'm thinking Alan Michaels, the man that's going to talk about one of his best friends, a man that he speaks with regularly off the air. I was thinking he was going to mention Tom Rice, but maybe it was that 100-degree heat. Maybe it was so hot there in Lafayette that it was just, you were just dripping with heat, and
I meant people that's gonna come down the ringside and throw them hands.
You didn't know about. You didn't know I could. I had to say, I thought it was funny because Titan mentioned Sportswire, and you didn't. But I mean, so I guess then you're not gonna do what Jade Cargill might do to Bianca Belair. At least what Randy's telling me, and the rest of the IWC world is telling me, and you're saying. Not going to happen yet, though.
No, Russell Cooper's my boy. That's my boy. I ain't gonna turn on him. That's my boy.
Okay, well, obviously, I'll get to that, and let's get to some comments before I get to Shane Davidson. I want to say hello here to CWM McDonald. How you doing, CWM? Nice to see you here. I hope that you can hit the sub button for me on Sportswire Radio at YouTube, Sportswire Radio 6579. Why? Because Sportswire Radio just surpassed 800 subscribers. Why is that important? For 2 reasons. Number one, if I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm getting a tattoo, an NEW Underground Wrestling tattoo. So we're gonna get a tattoo because I thought you've been on like a bunch of streams, Alan. I thought you would have knew of all people. You've been on Sportswire. You've been on since these guys have last been here, but I'm going to do that. But also, this is where it's going to get more interesting. So I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I said this last night on the, which I know, Alan, you were busy in Lafayette, so I'm going to give you a big pass now because you were in the ring yesterday, a big Rampage 166, 1,000+ views already. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have an open mic the entire evening. I'm going to let you, the people, I'm going to let you take over on Sportswire. You basically come on here and host the show. Maybe you want to roast me. Everybody's talking about the roast of Tom Brady still. Maybe you want to have the roast of Tom Bryce. Maybe you want to come on. You want to have your say. You want to have your input. So I hit 1,000 subs. We'll get as many people, and I'll keep the floor open as long as possible. So right now, I'm less than 200 subs away. So that means you got to get me there. So that means I want to make sure, and I also want to put this out there. My birthday is October 7th. So I'm giving the community right now, I'm giving everybody out there watching this, you got until my birthday to get me to 1,000 subs. You already got me to 800 plus. You got me from 500 to 600 in a month. From 600 to 800 in about 3 months. So that means we got almost 3 months to my birthday. So I'm expecting to get to 1,000 subs. So I put the challenge out there. I've put it out there. So you got to get there. So we'll get to some comments here. Let me get to two of them. That's two birds and one stone. But before I do that, D Savage did want to say the BBLs because he did like that reference. But I can't go there. But yes, Bailey does have something nice. Yes, she does have something nice, but I can't quite say what it is. Let me just say that it's definitely nicer than what J-Lo has, and it's probably a lot more real than what Kim Kardashian has. You can go figure it out and maybe do a Google search on what I'm talking about. So I'm going to leave that at that. Let's get to some more comments. Zilla is here as usual. Alan basically is. See, Alan, I did the nice thing for you. I didn't go and say what it was. I did the very politically correct comment because obviously you're in the main event of Rampage, you Rebellion, you've this, there, and that. So I did right by you. Yes, how you doing, Ethan? And what did you think of SmackDown? Was it really good? And CW said, what did you think of this week's SmackDown? Okay, so what did you guys think overall of SmackDown?
I'll give it a solid 7. I think it was entertaining to the point. Nothing crazy happened, but nothing horrible happened. So I'll give it a solid 7.
I'm going to give it a solid 6.5. I'm not going to lie. Raw is really getting me hyped up for Mondays, man.
Oh, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to definitely get to that. For you, Shane, anything you want to add? Anything on Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, or anything else you want to add on that before I...
I'm going to have to go with Randy on that with the 7 on the show and just in general. You know, it's great. It's the Paul Levesque. It's the Paul Levesque era. So I mean, it's all sorts of surprises for me. There's all kinds of things. I'm just excited.
Do you like the Paul Levesque era? Do you like his era?
I am enjoying it very nicely.
You are.
Better than the other guy there. I can tell you that much.
Well, let's never mention the other guy's name. Let's mention. No, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there and mention his name. But okay, all right, fair enough. So that's what we thought CWM on that. Okay, so let's go over to the Raw. So a lot to go on there. You know, we mentioned Priest. And let's talk about this whole situation with Dom Mysterio and Rhea Ripley's back, and Liv Morgan is basically apparently liked every single Dom Mysterio post on Instagram. I don't know how somebody humanly possible does that, but apparently Liv Morgan has done that. Maybe Zilla's Liv Morgan. Who knows? But you know, I guess after watching the last Raw or two, is it possible to me that Dom Mysterio could be getting some sympathy? Or am I maybe seeing things differently? What do you guys think on that?
He's the epitome of every young man's dream where you have one woman who's absolutely in love with you, another one that can't stand you. Like he's like what every college guy wants to be.
Well, I've actually got a story on that. I'm going to make everybody laugh. I was once kind of in that situation when I was in college. Actually, there was 2 girls. I was actually, for a very, really brief period, I actually went out with 2 girls at the same time. And naturally, a month later, what do you think happened? Nothing happened. And what I'm saying is hopefully Dom Mysterio learned from yours truly mistake. But that's why he's there and I'm here on Sportswire Radio. But I thought I'd try to make people laugh. But Dom Mysterio is definitely every man's dream, but can he keep it going? And what's going to happen here at SummerSlam between, most importantly, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley?
I think Liv retains.
You think Liv retains, really? You don't think Rhea comes back and swoops up in her title, or you think something's going to happen where Rhea...
I think something's going to happen. I think Dom might turn on Rhea.
You think so? Why?
It's just a gut feeling, man. I don't
know.
Like
what I think about what you might do to Russell Cooper at Rebellion.
No, why are you trying to bring that up, man? It's not gonna happen.
Hey, Alan Michael's a good guy. I know for me, he never stabbed me in the back. So the other guy, Russell Cooper, I think he has nothing to worry about. But to go on Alan's point, I agree. I don't think Dom's not gonna cost him. I think someone else in Judgment Day. I think Finn Balor is gonna do something that him and Dom might get in an argument or whatever, and that's gonna cost.
Well, why Finn Balor? Because we've seen these kind of confrontations with Priest and Dom. Why Finn and McDonough?
I think where you look at it, where Finn brought in Carlito, Finn's been okay with Liv Morgan. He's happy that he had the tag team champion because of Liv Morgan. So I think really with the Judgment Day he didn't like Priest running the show. I don't think he liked Priest running the show. I think he feels Liv Morgan will give him more of a chance to run the show of Judgment Day.
Interesting. I mean, it's an interesting point. I mean, I see a couple of you kind of pointing. I mean, anybody want to add something toward that?
Yeah, I think the whole Judgment Day, I think all of that comes to a head at SummerSlam. Honestly, I think
Obviously you'd have to think that there has to be something with this.
Priest is going to lose that title, and that's how it's going to implode.
I'm just ready to see a Dominic Mysterio solo run. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, it's funny you said that because I think Randy and I correct me if I'm wrong on this, about a year and a half ago, I remember we talked about the potential of one day Dominic Mysterio being a world champion. At the time, it would have been laughed at, but I don't know if that moment's coming right away. But I mean, there is certainly eventually
something's definitely going to happen this year with
Dominic
a
mid-card title. I say
absolutely.
IC title more than anything. I don't know about world title though.
No, like definitely world title we're still some way out, but definitely on his own winning something like the IC title from Sami Zayn. Unless Braun Breaker takes it, then God helps ever going to beat him. But I definitely see eventually Dom by the end of this year or even early next year becoming the Intercontinental Champion.
So then, okay, so you say that Liv Morgan's going to retain over Rhea Ripley. Damian Priest is going to lose to Gunther. And the Judgment Day is going to be a different looking faction. Why? Because Rhea Ripley is going to be Dom is turning on Rhea Ripley from your vantage point, and that also means Priest is kind of either going to be an odd man in the group or on the outside looking. Is that what you guys are telling me? What you expect 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Carlito might go with Damian Priest.
I always wait for the Carlito line here. Those like two little lines. I always wait for those little moments he has there, more or less. Those.
I think Alan is more going to be Rhea and Damian are going to be kind of ejected from the group, and they're going to be together, but somehow the other are going to stay together for somewhat time.
So does that mean Liv becomes, for all intensive purposes, the leader of the Judgment Day when Rhea was in that spot, or am I missing something here?
I think Finn would be the quote unquote leader.
Either
Finn would be.
I see a whole bunch of different things happening with this because you also have to think you've got Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and then you also have JD McDonough. That I personally think JD McDonough is going to turn on Finn Balor, kick Finn Balor out, and Dominic Mysterio out of the Judgment Day, and it's just going to be Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and JD McDonough. That's my theory.
Well, I think he still owes Finn for the time he got hit in the head with those Super Bowl rings from Logan Paul, so definitely that could happen.
But wouldn't it make sense to me that the Judgment Day becomes a Liv Morgan, Dom Mysterio, Finn Balor, Carlito, JD McDonough thing, and then Priest and Ripley are kind of old news, and they're basically no more?
It could also lead into a Survivor Series thing where I feel like they're finna do like a Bloodline versus Bloodline, or they can do like a OG Judgment Day versus New Judgment Day type of thing. That's what I see.
Okay, all right. Let me get to a few comments. Zilla gives some sort of comments. I think Finn Balor is working with Liv Morgan in secret. What do you think? What do you guys think is going to be? Who is going to be the new wise man for the Bloodline? I don't think they need a new wise man.
With Solo's mic skills, I don't think they need either, because Roman mic skills, it was like he really couldn't cut a promo, and Heyman did all that work. Solo, since Roman left,
isn't it funny that Solo, for all these years, almost said nothing, and all of a sudden now it's just this guy could have just spoke 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's kind of the irony of that. Let's get to Ethan. Tom and the gang, do you guys think that we'll get face Finn Balor down the road, or do you think that he'll always stay with the Judgment Day? It's a good question.
I want the Prince back. What we saw in NXT in 2020, I want to see that Finn Balor on the main roster as a heel.
But do we get it at this point based on his age?
I think one last run like AJ's doing, we could probably see it.
But has Finn Balor had that status that AJ Styles has had to warrant that?
He needs to get there. But he signed a new contract. AJ Styles' contract is coming to an end where Finn Balor just signed a brand new contract. He'll be there. He still has some time. So hopefully we get see that Prince run.
Okay. All right. Fair. Okay. I'll come back to that. I want to go back to Logan Paul and LA Knight. Is this the moment that LA Knight finally gets some gold, or is it ever going to happen? So I see hands and heads are nodding. Why?
I 100% think this is LA Knight's moment. For the simple fact is, 2 years ago he went after Roman Reigns for the World Championship, and he was getting pushed to the moon. He's still over. He's still a champion in our eyes. He's still that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I don't know, with them, the way they're pushing LA Knight right now, I think it's time for Logan Paul to pass the torch to LA Knight for a little bit.
I agree with Shane Douglas. Sorry, Tom. I agree with Shane Douglas there, because I'll go on what Cody said before WrestleMania with his interview with Raul Harari. He said John Cena told him, you have to, even if you lose, how do you act without the title? After he lost last year to Roman. LA Knight had done the exact same thing after losing to Roman. His momentum, how he's been carried, like he's still one of the top merch sellers. So it's time now to take him to the next level.
Is the momentum still there enough that a U.S. title you care enough for?
Yep. I think he could do what, not to the level of what Gunther did with the IC, but a little bit.
Well, I don't think there's any chance of that. I don't think, with all due respect to LA Knight, I do not think LA Knight will do I say this with all due respect, from a ring ability standpoint, will be able to do what Gunther has done. I mean, Gunther is, probably going to, when it's all said and done, we're going to look back on a pound for pound wrestling basis, will be one of the best of this generation. LA Knight is not that. LA Knight is a great salesman. He's a great talker. Kind of like Logan Paul said. I don't want to call him a Rock knockoff, but in terms of his charisma, those are things he has. Gunther is just, we're going to look at him like a Kurt Angle, a Bret Hart. I mean, in that vein of just tremendous in-ring talents. Alan, you want to stay trendy with us, or maybe you just had Raising Cane's? Did you get that shirt from eating at Raising Cane's, by the way?
Yeah. 100%.
I actually, by the way, I've had Raising Cane's twice, by the way, actually. There is actually one in Brooklyn.
Mid.
Yeah.
Overhyped. Sauce
the bread is like, it's not, the bread is weird to me.
Salt water.
I wouldn't quite say salt water on the air, because after all, we're live, and I'm sure there are friends of the platform here listening and watching. But the point is that, okay, you say it's salt water. I say LA Knight beating Logan Paul. For whatever reason, I could still see Logan Paul retaining the title.
Yeah, I can too. I was just going to say there's still a possibility of Logan retaining. Yeah. I see some shenanigans can happen.
Because part of me says, tell me your thoughts on this. Part of me says LA Knight's been the top merchandise guy, right, for the better part of a year. LA Knight's been this guy that's been hanging around the peripheral edge of the main event scene. Shane makes a good point. He talked about last year, months ago, had a match with Roman Reigns for the title, was in the whole situation at the Royal Rumble, but hasn't been able to get over the finish line. WrestleMania obviously was another standpoint. But to me, maybe if you are going to put a title on LA Knight, maybe it still is the world title, and a U.S. title. Does LA Knight need a U.S. title?
But is he going to be Gunther or Cody? I think that's the question at this point. I don't think he can beat either. So the best bet at this point is.
But he'd have more of a shot against Gunther than Cody, because I think Cody, I'm assuming Cody's going to be locked into this whole bloodline situation for a little while, unless I'm missing something. On
Yeah, no,
Gunther's end of it, if LA Knight were to go and win a Royal Rumble, you could see LA Knight and maybe if Gunther's going to get it at SummerSlam. Let me transition and change gears. Do you guys think that Gunther is going to beat Damian Priest, or Damian Priest is going to hang on longer? Because Damian Priest seems to be, and tell me your guys' thoughts on this, and maybe it's just because I watch so much backyard and underground wrestling, but Damian Priest seems to me the ultimate transition champion of this generation. I mean, there's not counting The Miz cashing in 3 years ago and having that aborted one-day title run, or obviously Drew McIntyre's, what was it, 2-minute championship run. But in terms of championship runs of the past, I don't know, 7, 8+ years, I mean, maybe since going back to what, Dolph Ziggler and Christian's runs as champions, maybe this has to be the most transitional champion we've had. Am I missing something here?
And it sucks too, because I'm actually starting to really like Priest. I like his backstage.
He's coming in his own. He's coming in his own. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And it sucks, but like none of his title defenses has made him look special at all. I mean, especially this past one with the botch. I mean, it's making Damian Priest look like the biggest transitional champion.
But maybe, you know what? He's almost like, I hate to say it, I mean, he's kind of like what Dom wants to be in the middle of Liv and Rhea. He's in the middle of, again, you can go think about what that might be, but I didn't imply that. But the point is that you can look at it and say, well, Priest is in the middle of this whole situation with McIntyre and Punk and Gunther. Those three names by far. And again, Damian Priest is a phenomenal talent. He is absolutely deserved to be where he is, to be a champion. He's had quite a journey to get to where he is, but unfortunately, that's the card you're dealt with. I mean, he's basically competing with Gunther, who I just said is probably pound for pound the best wrestler of this generation. You've got Drew McIntyre, who's really come into his own, I think more in the past, year, even than during his COVID run. And then you've got, oh, by the way, this guy CM Punk. And then, also, how about Seth Rollins just came back? So there's almost no way. I mean, Damian Priest is kind of a man without an island. And I hate to say it. I'll get to a few comments here and say hello to some people as I see people are coming in here. But it almost reminds me of, like, speaking of transitional champions, and I say this with as much love as I could possible. Bret Hart was a phenomenal wrestler. But Bret Hart was another ultimate definition of his generation as a transitional champion. He just, unfortunately, that was just the card he was dealt with. He had the whole thing with Hogan, Yokozuna. He had this Diesel thing. They wanted to try a new generation, Shawn Michaels. I mean, so in a way, Priest, I mean, he's got almost no shot. This is the hand that he's dealt with. So that's why he's kind of, how could he shine? Think about it. How could he shine?
Yeah, I know you're absolutely right. I think with Priest, like his match with Jey Uso, it was okay. His match at Clash of the Castle, I think he really showed people he's actually pretty good, especially how he screwed up his leg in the ropes early in the match. But it's just been he's been that champion where it's been another it's not like he's found some clever way, like when JBL was champion and he was able to get out of sticky situation. Like there's been other distractions that have been leading him to lose it, to keep the championship where really he shouldn't.
Well, I think JBL had the Bashams. He had Jillian Hall. He had Orlando Jordan. I mean, JBL, that was kind of the thing. He would find ways to retain. With Priest, I just don't get that, because you got this whole situation with Rhea or Dom and Liv, and look at what he's competing with. It's almost that he's got no shot. I mean, listen, Alan Michaels, you better hope that the Prophet Jay Wild is the ultimate transition champion in the backyard in the underground circuit. You better be hoping that whenever Rebellion comes out, you better be. But am I wrong, Alan Michaels, or am I just trying to stay trendy?
Hey, you never know what might happen.
Okay, fair enough. I mean,
yeah, I'm prepared for a fight at Rebellion.
Oh, it's going to be a fight, that I know, but make sure your pants, you pick them up. No, we'll move on. But anything else you guys want to add on that? So Gunther, though, you feel this is his moment at SummerSlam. Just want to confirm.
If Gunther doesn't win, everything they did with him in the last 2 years is all for nothing. You're absolutely right. It's the way they made this guy look unstoppable with the IC title, where Sami Zayn, he won because he wasn't focused. Are we going to see the same thing? I don't think so, especially the fact that they're doing a show in Germany next month. So
Right.
I
And
have
you
to
want to
think
go
he,
European to
yeah,
crossover. Okay, let me get to two comments. Now, I want to go back to McIntyre and Punk because Punk's going to be there Monday, and I do have to get to the usual CM Punk in the interest of time because I got, I think, another, 25 or so minutes with you guys. Tom and the gang, I could see it happening. LA Knight would be a great choice to have as the next U.S. champion. And besides Logan, yeah, I mean, that's the one thing. Logan's kind of in that, Brock Lesnar role, where basically he's here and he's not here often. And there is a huge subsect of the community, the wrestling fans, that absolutely despise him as champion. But he brings WWE that much of a mainstream face, mainstream recognition that doesn't matter. Let me get to Ethan's next point. The only way for Cody Rhodes to lose his championship he's not wrestling Gunther. He's not wrestling Gunther. I just want to let he put in Cody Rhodes versus Gunther. It wouldn't be Cody Rhodes and Gunther, but so I guess we'll have to scratch that. So basically, we can say Cody Rhodes will retain at SummerSlam. How about that? We'll give you a mulligan. Okay, all right. So we'll go back to that. We'll just forget that comment happened. Okay, let me ask you guys next then on this whole Drew McIntyre and CM Punk thing. What is the payoff with this?
it's a huge payoff. Like this has been like I think
Well,
I'm
I'm
talking.
asking, what exactly is the payoff?
The payoff here is they're building to something bigger between Seth and McIntyre at Seth and Punk at WrestleMania. I feel like this whole Punk and McIntyre had brought similar to what we saw with Brad and Sean.
I knew you were going there because there's a real life hatred with Seth, and now they've interjected Seth into this. Okay,
And it's gonna go that level. Like the fact that this has made they didn't even. I think this is what really ultimately made McIntyre re-sign with WWE at the top level was his work with Punk, the tweets, the comments, and I think Punk has realized. Listen, like we don't have to like each other, but let's do business and see what type of business we do. Like they've been the talk of WWE for the last number since Punk got hurt pretty much at the Rumble.
Yeah, I would say what's that about 4 or 5 months, almost
Yeah.
4 or 5 months.
So you add that in there, and I think they're gonna. The big thing I'm interested in. I was really thinking about this. Should they do a tag team match? Punk bring a tag team partner at SummerSlam, and it would be Punk and someone versus Rollins and McIntyre in some type of tag team match. Because I think Tom, you mentioned this. CM Punk his last number of matches after he got hurt. So really, what are
Yeah,
we
I
gonna?
mean, we spoke about this many times, and I want to say also to Omen Black, of course. Omen's going to be out there wrestling tomorrow at the IMF CyberSlam show. He's going to be wrestling JX and Monoxide. Hillbilly Tilly, who's I find is always on YouTube. I saw him on AJ Morgan's show, and now he's here with us. Thank you, Hillbilly, as always. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about this. Punk in the past decade has wrestled what? A dozen matches, if that? A dozen matches?
Give or take.
What's his viability in ring? What is his real viability? I mean, it's an open-ended question. He's 45 years old now?
Yeah.
In the last 3 matches he's had, he got hurt. Big matches
I was
he's had.
right. 2 of them he got hurt, right? 2 of the 3, because obviously one, the Rumble, right, is where he got hurt in the Rumble, and then the other AEW, he got hurt in an AEW match. So it's 2 of the last 3 matches he's had, or after those matches. So
in my personal opinion, Tom, I feel like
Okay.
they're going to bury Drew McIntyre with CM Punk because CM Punk isn't on his A game. He has lost his spunk back to when he was like in 2010 when he was like really good in the ring. You know, I personally don't like CM Punk. I think he's a crybaby, but that's besides the point. With that being said, they can do so much more with Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. I just think they just need to leave CM Punk out of it and just let CM Punk do something else.
But that CM Punk. No, listen, and I do agree that there's a point that CM Punk in the past decade hasn't done very much. I agree with you on that. But the thing is that we talked about this, and Randy can attest to this. When CM Punk was in AEW, from a statistical standpoint, CM Punk is a part of the highest viewed AEW shows in history. I mean, so if you look at it from a statistical standpoint, he is one of the last true generational draws. So at the end of the day, WWE has him there for the star power. WWE is also probably looking at it. What do we have with this guy? I mean, what do we have left from a viability standpoint in terms of what he's got in the ring? I think that's the big wild card because, we've spoke about this guys all in the past, whether it's with guys like Flair, guys like Sting, and all these other guys that either want to come back or hang on as long as they do. You can't defeat Father Time. Father Time is undefeated, right? Can't take away the fact that CM Punk has had next to no ring ability, any ring time to put onto his craft over the past decade. Not to say that he doesn't have any ring ability, but we saw that with The Rock, right? The Rock, everybody talked about The Rock, and The Rock kind of was what he was almost at Mania. The Rock to have a solo match, I'm sure would be a certain thing. The last time we really saw The Rock was at WrestleMania all those years ago against John Cena, and I think he got injured then. So the point is with Punk, there's no telling what we have left. So you've got to install him in something. And I think going off what you said, Randy, is that CM Punk and Seth Rollins have a real bad blood. And we know WWE's got to capitalize on that because what do you got left from Punk?
Exactly. Like, how much of a draw is Punk going to give? What really viable story do you have here? Like, I think could we see Roman versus Punk? Yeah, but with Roman turning face and all that and everything else going the bloodline, it's going to be
I don't even know what
time.
that kind of match would be like, though.
It wouldn't kind of be anything at this point with everything else going on. But I think with Punk and Rollins, listen, Rollins have made the comments last year. Stay away from us, Phil. We don't want you. His reaction
and
after...
Punk was so controversial to a WWE for all those years. Yeah. I mean, I see Shane Davidson. Are you Armageddon Shane Davidson again? So Armageddon Shane Davidson, I don't disagree with you in the fact that, like, look, CM Punk said a lot of things about WWE, and I've said this on prior shows. There are guys in that locker room, no question, who have long memories. He can do everything possible to shake hands. He can do everything possible to say the right things, but you can't take away those words. And ultimately, the end of the day, the only way to capitalize on that is him and Seth Rollins. And I don't know what kind of match it's going to be like. Because I think Punk is just the biggest wild card here. I got a bunch of comments. Let me get to, because I got about another 20 or so minutes with you guys. I know one guy's got a big show, and the other guy's got really a dog who needs to do a big show of a walk. But that was a funny joke. CM Punk is one of the best ever on the mic. Absolutely, no question about that. And he is one of the biggest draws in the modern era. After John Cena, I would say it's him and Roman Reigns that are probably the two biggest draws. But CM Punk's body of work as a draw is what? 4 years? 4, 5, maybe 4 or 5 years.
Well, you think about this, Raw ratings are up. It's not a coincidence they're up because CM Punk is
who's a part of the two biggest AEW viewed shows in history? CM Punk.
Yeah.
CM Punk. I mean, CM Punk gave AEW star power. He gave them a casual fan that wanted to come out and watch them. He did what Sasha Banks, the artist formerly known as Sasha Banks, couldn't do. He did what Edge couldn't do there. He did what so many other people that walked into AEW could not do. He gave them a reason to want to watch AEW. And I think that's his biggest draw. He draws casual fans, similar to the way that Hogan would years ago. Hogan would come on, you get a brief spike. But the longer you saw Hogan on TV, and there's still that casual factor. Listen, when Punk returned last year at Survivor Series, everybody was fired up. Social media was abuzz. It was just like when he returned to AEW. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Ron Franklin. Ron, how you doing? Nice to see you. But here's Hillbilly Tilly with a couple of counters. Yes, he's over the hill in age. 45, I think, with the amount of lack of ring matches he's had, very hard to overcome that. He should be used as a gatekeeper. Have him in big feuds and storylines, but not in your world title picture. Basically to the equivalent of, if you remember Shawn Michaels' run after he came back and won the world title in 2002. For the most part, you had him still in the main event, but you didn't put the world title on him. Good point there. Good call on that. I feel like if Drew McIntyre wants to become a world champion, he needs to finish his feud with CM Punk and win. Yeah, I mean, Drew McIntyre does need a victory over CM Punk. And the question is going to be is that will CM Punk play ball? I think that's a
I think
fair
he will. I think him signing with WWE, him working with Triple H, Nick Khan, and everyone else there, especially now that The Rock, a board of director, like I think they're telling him, listen, we'll let bygones be bygones, but you're not going to be here doing whatever you want. I think they've kind of shown under this new regime this isn't the old Vince McMahon regime where if a guy like Goldberg came back, he's going to go over for sure. No, like you're going to have to do your part here. And I think he's fully aware of that.
You want to say anything else, Alan, before I move on? Okay.
Yeah.
There's one thing I do want to talk to you guys about before we get to final thoughts. Is a big name that we actually haven't touched upon in the wrestling world that everybody's still talking about, and I have to get all three of your thoughts on it. You want to finish your thought before I ask you that question?
Yeah, the whole CM Punk thing is with the Seth and Drew. Like, I don't know, it's kind of ran its course with me. I'm ready to see the payoff now. You know,
that's what I asked about the payoff. Okay,
Yeah.
so before I do that, let me get to two things. McIntyre and Rollins need to put over Punk.
No.
I think
Disagree.
I think Punk needs to put them over.
I think Punk needs to build that bridge first before he gets put over by anybody.
That's a good point. Good point.
You're absolutely right there, Shinda. I'll go to his AEW run. Guys put him over right away. Darby Allin, Eddie Kingston, MJF did beat him, but then MJF had to put him over. Everyone was putting it over, and you saw what happened. There really needs to be like I said this time on our show when we actually used to call on the show, and I said
yes.
Punk should go put Darby over and then do a kind of.
If you want to see calls come back, we tested it out a few weeks ago. When I think when I'm trying to remember who was it Chase Wakefield? There was somebody here. We did actually put the call-in number again, but
yeah, but we said that, and I think that definitely what really saw people rubbing him the wrong way. Saying, listen, he wouldn't.
And Hillbilly Tilly wants to say he said it backwards, so that's what he meant to say.
I think there's good. I think one will put one over, but I think Punk has to give McIntyre a win. He has to give Rollins a win.
I think that's the better. I think this CM Punk can't come in here and beat Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. If we're gonna go down that road, he cannot. If you take him serious, Tom and the gang, do you think that sometime Randy Orton is going to get revenge on the Bloodline for attacking him and putting him through a table? I guess if Roman Reigns comes back, but I want to hold that thought because I only got so much time with you guys, and I really want to get all of your thoughts on the one thing that everybody's still going to be talking about for a while. And there was this guy, apparently. I'm sure you heard of him. His name's John Cena. You heard of John Cena before?
Oh,
dude. Maybe you know him from music. Maybe you know him from that rap album he put out there. Two of you guys are rappers, so maybe you could obviously compare your MC skills to him. But John Cena obviously announced a few weeks ago at Money in the Bank in your neck of the woods. Well, the other side of your country. You're in more Western Canada. He's in Eastern Canada, more toward the United States part of Michigan and other parts like upstate New York, which is Toronto, Ontario, Canada. But John Cena announced that he's retiring, but he's not retiring until the end of the calendar year, 2025, and he's going to go out and have, I guess, his own tour. I mean, Sting kind of did this, but I think what John Cena is going to do is more or less a far extended version of it. Hopefully he doesn't do what a lot of these groups do in music to say they're going to retire and then they keep coming back. But it seems like at this point, it's going to be for real. And I want to ask you guys two things. Number one, what is your thoughts on this? And secondly, do you think that John Cena is the man to find a way and get one more world title and be the first 17-time world champion? So what do you guys think on both those thoughts?
Man,
Wow.
can I start this off? I would like
you
to
can say
start
anything
this
you want
off because
go for it.
growing up, I watched John Cena. Like he was my idol. He was somebody that I looked up to, and it's really sad to see the end of John Cena
Yeah. Super
coming to an
Cena.
end.
Yep.
And
Super Cena.
it's just it brings a tear to my eye because that right there is everybody my age's childhood hero. I don't care what anybody has to say. Everybody knew John Cena. Everybody loved John Cena.
Yep. Yeah, it's tough.
It's the sadness of reality that hits you. It's like, damn, I'm getting older now.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
We all got a chance to watch his entire career unfold in front of our very eyes, pretty much.
Absolutely, and it's an honor to sit there and say that I got to watch John Cena from age 2 to age 20 to 24, and it's crazy.
Yeah, he's the first guy probably we all could safely say that we watched his entire career. I mean, maybe AJ Styles, but I don't think he has the same magnitude. But he's the guy. Randy Orton would be the other one, but Randy Orton for now is not retiring. But John Cena is the one guy I think we all could say that we've watched his career from beginning to end.
And to answer your second question, I
want to hear this. This I want to hear.
I don't have 100% doubt in my mind that John Cena will weasel his way into a world title defense on Monday Night Raw. I don't have a doubt in my mind that it will happen.
Well, what are both of you guys thinking? One man who wants to be a world champion in a matter of days from now. I mean, what do you think? I mean, everybody's going to be asking this question. And Flair himself did endorse on social media Cena becoming the man to win that 17th championship. Do you think that Cena's got one more left in him or what?
I think he does. And I think it's going to come from later on in that last run. I think Orton was going to take the title off of Cody. So the one last dance between Orton and Cena for the number 17. That's the only way I can see it happening is Orton and Cena having one last.
So that means Orton needs to win the title somehow. So Orton has to turn on Cody then.
Yeah, I mean it's not
easy. I mean it makes sense if you think about it because you had the legacy. You know what I'm saying? You had Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, and Randy Orton all in a group, and then that makes a lot of sense actually.
Well, they were talking about this on it was somewhere I was listening. It was Eric Bischoff's podcast, and they were talking about who were the opponents that you put up with Cena. Obviously, Orton's name came up first, and then there was newer stars. Names like Braun Breaker came up, and names like Gunther came up. Now, Gunther, I don't know what kind of match that would be. I don't know what that would be. Then Cody Rhodes' name came up, obviously, because of the passing
of the torch.
Yeah, I mean, although you could say, did Cena already pass the torch to Cody last year in Boston when he came out and raised his hand? But there's been a variety of opponents that have been mentioned out there with John Cena, maybe ones he hasn't faced. Would you like to see them? Or do you want to see John Cena and Roman Reigns one more time? Do you want to see, I can't believe I'm even going to say this, John Cena and The Rock one more time. But seriously, if he's doing 30 to 40 dates, so you start thinking about who was left that Cena had runs with. AJ Styles is the name that comes up, Punk. But
you could say Cody.
I think because of the raising of the hands, I think that would make sense, right? He's got to get a victory back off Solo, right? He's got to have another one with him.
Maybe Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
I can also picture a big heel turn from John Cena during this run.
No way. It's too late.
No.
The thing is, it's not. It can't be too late though.
He's retiring. He can't go and turn heel. That kills the whole thing.
That's like Undertaker doing something.
I told you so. Woo! This is John Cena. He has been almost uninterruptedly maybe the greatest face in wrestling history. Maybe Bruno Sammartino. Yes, we're gonna get the show over soon. But it's who else would be? Hogan had the turn. Even Sting turned heel goofily a couple of times. Austin had. I think the WrestleMania 17 heel turn was goofy. The Rock's already turned heel when he came back. I don't even think people would have it in them to
That's
boo
like
John
saying
Cena.
Rey Mysterio's going to turn heel all of a sudden. It just doesn't make sense.
No, Rey Mysterio and John Cena are probably the two most beloved figures in wrestling history.
You know,
And
there's
it's
one. Sorry, Tom. Sorry to
Yes.
interrupt. There's one guy I could see John Cena wrestling. Dom, because Dom Mysterio. Because
Yeah,
look
I
at
thought about
history
that.
there.
That's a good one. Dom's a good one.
That's yeah.
But do you want to see John Cena face off with people he hasn't faced off with, or it should just be guys that he squared off with in ruthless aggression over the past few years? Because again, Roman, we know there's still, 2021, those battles in 2017, 2018. You've got certainly, and I hate to throw it out there, The Rock again, that history. I don't know what's the viability of that. We know the personal history outside of WrestleManias. We know that they've been in movies together. Randy Orton, that's the natural. I mean, that's maybe the greatest rivalry in modern. What do you want to say, Alan Michaels? And don't say
Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I thought about
Yeah, I was
that.
going to say Seth Rollins.
Here's another one. Who did John Cena lose his first U.S. title to? Carlito.
Yeah, but Carlito.
That was a real. The thing is, that was such an underrated feud, John Cena.
Well,
and
Carlito had a really good run, but I feel like Carlito now is what? Comedic?
Yeah.
I think he could still put on a good match. Him and Cena.
I think he looks identically the same, but you're using him in a way that, I mean, naturally, I'm assuming we could get John Cena and The Miz again.
John Cena and R-Truth, his childhood hero.
I was waiting for you to say that. You stole the words right out of my mouth. I do have some comments. Let me get to a bunch of them before we move on to a few finals. I do want to ask you if you all think he'll get that 17th championship. Then we'll get to a few other things. Does John Cena? I don't know if he follows me. I know he follows you on X. I don't think John Cena follows me on X, but I did get followed by somebody who has like 130,000 followers on X the other day. And, I won't bring up for two of you guys. James Taylor follows me on TikTok, but we won't go there for you two guys. We won't go there. I'm going to move on. Cena's one of my all-time favorites. Yes, I knew he followed you. I don't think he follows me. John Cena is my childhood. I liked Randy Orton versus John Cena. See, I would have loved to have seen if he was in WWE still. Edge and him would have been.
Oh, hands down.
That would have been just, really, really perfect. It'd be interesting to see Cody turn on Orton. Yeah, I mean, they've been talking about that. Bischoff was saying he's a natural heel. I mean, I don't feel. Go ahead.
Sorry, Tom, I keep it right. He's perfect right now. The face, he's still one of the top producers. He's taken that match. Like when we all remember that 2018, 17, 16, when Roman Reigns the push of the face, and we just hated him, and everyone resented him. Like the kids loved him, but some of the kids loved him, but people just resent him. Cody had taken John Cena's place as that top face guy, the company guy. And I think until someone else comes close to taking that from Cody, I don't think he's going to turn heel.
Undertaker was saying the same thing. He was saying that he thinks that Cody's a natural heel because of his tendencies, his background. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Damian Priest versus John Cena. Yeah. Look,
I thought that down.
But he's got 30 to 40 dates. So you're going to have to put him up with people. Look, I think you have to get Orton. I think you got to try to get Roman. I mean, you got to probably get Punk, right? If Punk's healthy, right? You got to get Punk. You probably got to get Seth Rollins. You probably got, if he's in the company still, AJ Styles. You got to get Solo in there. Where you got to give him that win back, right? You got to get that.
Joe Hendry.
Say his name, he'll appear. I knew you were gonna go. I did say it. I said it on my video on Instagram. Yeah, he's back. He's in NXT. Do you get John Cena and LA Knight?
Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams.
Carmelo Hayes, that's a good one. We talked about Cody. Do you want to go Cody? Do you want to go? We talked about AJ Styles, LA Knight, Braun Breaker. I mentioned Braun Breaker.
I don't know if I can say his name, but it was the Beast Incarnate versus John Cena. I think that would. I would.
Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah, I don't know. I think. Can we say his name? I don't know.
Yeah, you can. They say his name. His name's been mentioned a couple of times. Brock Lesnar's name. Michael Cole has said Brock Lesnar's name on TV many a time.
I guess because Brock, they know he wasn't as implicated as what the one individual with two initials or three initials is. But I mean, there's history there with Brock Lesnar. Yeah, I mean, you could go that route. Do you want to go Gunther and John Cena? No.
I just don't think the two styles would match, and not. I mean, I think Prime Cena would face off against Gunther, but not
Cena.
old man Cena.
But right, but you just think it real quick before I move on to final thoughts. I think at the top of the list, Randy Orton, right? You want to put at the list Roman Reigns right below it. Roman Reigns and John Cena should go one more time.
I can see it.
Solo Sikoa, natural history. AJ Styles, history later on in the feud. Seth Rollins. Yeah, you could. Do you want to run him through the bloodline? You want to run him through the bloodline and let Roman, if they're both faces, have a. And do you want to see The Rock and John Cena one more time? No.
No, really.
It doesn't make sense at this point with everything they're doing.
They've already said it was the end of an era twice. You can't run it back.
Wrestling, they say never say never. Okay, let me get to some more comments before I ask one more final follow-up. What about this, Tom? John Cena should face off with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes in a triple threat match for the championship. I don't think John Cena should be in triple threat matches in this run.
Solos.
No. I would love to see a heel Cody Rhodes. Well, Undertaker said that. Why am I? Orton, Punk, Styles, and McIntyre is a good one.
McIntyre is a good one.
Good call. Yeah, I would think Orton, Punk.
If he's healthy, Kofi Kingston. When he gets healthy again, because
my problem is Kofi's just lost so much.
Wade Barrett. I want to see John
Cena.
Wade.
If it happens,
I can see Chad Gable.
Yeah.
All right. So how about Bo Dallas? Think about the history there.
Yeah.
The history. If we're gonna go that
Cena in the Miz.
He'd be saying we got to go there. I mean, there's going to be people out there. He's not wrong. I mean,
John always had, and we see near the end, John wants to pay his respect. So I definitely
people that he had feuds with. Punk, yes. Orton, absolutely goes without saying. Styles goes without saying. McIntyre would be good. Seth would be good. I still think Roman Reigns, there should be one more with that. Solo most recently. Do you want maybe to have him LA Knight pass the torch, or maybe have them, do you want younger guys like Braun Breaker to go in there toward the end of it? Cody Rhodes, you're going to be tempted with it. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go with this.
Tom, so friggin' one name, Logan Paul.
Yeah, that's a good one. Logan Paul.
I would kill to see a John Cena versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania one last time. I really want to see a rematch because I'm gonna be honest with you. The one with him and Undertaker the last time they went at it, boring.
I'll be honest with you. The Undertaker is in my world now. He's in podcasting, so he's a podcaster now. So I think that he's obviously has a lot more fans than we do at Sportswire. Although I think we have some fans, but he has a lot more fans. But that's okay. We'll certainly give him the opportunity. We're not going to certainly tell him he shouldn't be in the podcast world. Out of all the opponents he'll face in the last run, who do you all think should be the one to retire him? I think Braun Breaker is the one that Bischoff was talking about in his podcast. I mean, Logan Paul, it's got to be somebody who needs that moment. I think Cody Rhodes, if you're passing the torch, if you believe in that, would make sense. But it's got to be somebody that needs it. That Braun Breaker, the family lineage. That
Gunther might be the perfect person.
Yeah.
Or you could try Austin Theory again and see how that works.
I think if John Cena is going to wrestle Austin Theory, he needs to get a win and beat him in 2 minutes. But we're expecting John Cena to win some matches here, right? Because he hasn't won matches since before COVID, right? He hasn't won a match since before COVID, I think. 2018,
I think, was his last win.
That's pretty wild, right? That we're talking about John Cena in this way, and he hasn't won since pre-COVID. I mean, that just shows you that kind of player he is. Okay, my last follow-up, and then we'll get to closing thoughts. So, John Cena, do you guys all think wins that 17th championship to surpass Flair?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it's inevitable.
One bonus, I promise one follow-up. Will Ric Flair be on WWE TV to see it?
Yes, his contract with AEW is expired.
That's why I knew somebody would get that. Yep, that's why I knew it. I knew somebody would say that. Okay, you know what? I think we've run the gauntlet. I think we pretty much got everything else to say. I'm going to give you guys closing thoughts. It was kind of a short show on Sportswire. We were supposed to have a sports show with the rest of the regular guys, but I only have Justin. I was expecting Chris and Rob, but they're both out of action. So maybe we'll bring the gang back next week. But I want to give you guys the opportunity for some closing thoughts. I know Alan's got to go. He's got to focus. He's soon got to prepare for his life before his own very eyes. And Shane, I would play your music, but I'm going to play it next week because I want a bigger audience to see the music. And Randy, it's good to see you. You got to go walk the dog, so I don't want to get in the middle of the dog walking. So let's go with Shane first. How many of you closing thoughts? Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? And I'll pass the baton to you and fire away, my man.
For starters, before I get into my final thoughts, my wife wanted me to show you some swimming trunks that we bought for my son today.
Oh yes, give me the swimming trunks. Oh wow.
Awesome.
You can see those swimming trunks and the Rey Mysterio swimming trunks with John Cena, boy, and the Undertaker, boy,
and Kofi Kingston on there.
You got all the people covered on the trunks, boy. You didn't pick those out. The wife did. You didn't pick them out. The wife picked them out.
Yeah, I saw them. Well, she found them, and I was like, "Yep, we're getting them."
No Randy ones. That's why they got done.
Yeah, there was no Randy ones. But anyway, for my closing thoughts, I'm gonna plug in my Twitch at It's Your Boy Shane. If you want to go follow me on there, follow me on TikTok at It's Your Boy Shane. I stream almost every single night, every single day. I try to stay consistent, so some days you just gotta bear with me. Anyway,
yeah, I know the feeling, Shane. I would watch the streams, but I think you probably noticed that I'm usually probably on the same time you are. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. On top of that, next month I will be absent for like a week. Because I will be giving birth to my child with my
the
my
missus
wife.
will be giving birth. You're not.
My wife will be. I'm not going to be giving birth. But my wife.
The missus is very happy that I caught that there, but you can't give unless. Are you talking about that movie? What was it? Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. I think they were trying to give birth, but no, you can't give birth. The missus can give birth, but I'll say congratulations.
My wife's giving birth to my son next month.
I think your wife was very happy I caught that. She's probably, that's why Tom really does have those people watching Sportswire after all.
But overall, man, I just want everybody to stay positive. Good energy, high energy.
We had a lot of fun tonight. Yep.
All wrestling matters at the end of the day. I may have some fair opinions. I've got a lot of bridges I have to rebuild, but overall, I'm working on myself, working on bettering myself as an individual because I let my ego get the best of me. But anyway, like I said, just positive energy, positive mindsets is all I really have to say.
I love it. That's your Instagram, and we'll make sure.
My wife said she loves you.
Well, I'm sure she loves you a little bit more, but thank you for the kind words there, Mrs. And we'll let you run off if that's your Instagram. We'll put up some of that shortly, and I'm going to go to you, Randy, next. I know you got to go, and anything else you want to plug, share, or say, and I'll pass the baton to you, and I'll put up your social media up next.
Perfect. Thanks, Tom. Always a pleasure to be back. Happy to be back next few weeks. Which I got some commitments, but we'll see if I can work them out.
No problem. We'll have, I'm sure, plenty of people to be here.
One thing I want to talk about is AEW. There's so much going on with that company. Like I know today HBO was releasing an archive of them, so I don't know if that means anything with their TV deal signed or not. But
yeah, I mean, Tony Khan was saying that they were made a lot of progress. They were good, but there's still
the clock is ticking.
Well, I think they're all waiting on the NBA deal because there's a whole game that the NBA still hasn't finalized the TV deal because Turner gets 5 days to match any of the agreements, and that could play into what they do and how much money and what they put into the AEW situation with WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery.
Exactly. And the other thing I just want to say is I don't know how AEW is going to continue their success. What success
have they had?
They wasted this Wednesday. Great match with Ospreay and MJF. Yeah. Probably one of the best matches you will see.
But they gave it away on free TV.
And this is the problem. They don't have a recipe where you can get people interested. If you're telling me you have to put on great matches every week like that to keep your audience, that's a serious problem, I think. And now All Out, they're not even close to the attendance they were last year. I think they're only about 50 to 50.
I heard All In could be going to Dallas now. Not even.
Oh, I don't
Wembley.
even know how they're going to sell out, but they're betting. They've signed these guys like Will Ospreay, great talent, and I think he could be like AJ Styles, but he still has a way to go. Mercedes Moné is not selling tickets. She's not
I
selling
said it
merchandise.
before 20 minutes ago. What a waste. What a complete
And
waste.
then finally, you look at this whole Jack Perry Elite angle. It looked like a potential, but it's gone down the drain. Like I don't know what they're doing. Like I go back to a CM Punk's interview. As long as they're willing to pump money in that company, it's gonna be fine. But because what people were saying, AEW, they're going to surpass WCW in shows, where WCW did 268, AEW just did 250. WCW quality was better. Like you can't tell me AEW had anything where WCW did, especially the fact Dennis Rodman missed an NBA practice to go to Nitro.
And listen, WCW had Hogan and Goldberg in the Georgia Dome generate, what was it, 40,000 people with a $2-3 million gate in 1998.
AEW can't even get 1,000 people in there. Like can't even get 3,000 or 4,000 people in there.
I heard they're giving comps out. I mean, listen, I think TBW gets more people to go to their shows than AEW.
Yeah. So that's like
Alan, you laugh on that one, Alan. You could have said something on that. You could have laughed.
like I'm not shitty like saying I hate AEW. I'm just saying they have to figure things out in order for them to be a liable, protected business. Because WCW stopped because the Time Warner said we're done pumping money and it's not viable.
Well, they wanted the company to fail, and there was obviously a structure there, and there was things that didn't work, and AEW has none of that, and that's why I couldn't agree with you more. AEW, it's just. I don't know.
Until they change, and then if the cons are willing to pump millions of dollars to keep this viable, by all means, please do. But it's not a successful recipe where we can say we're as good as WWE or even Impact. Impact's making some noise now, especially with this crossover between NXT.
Oh, I think Impact, is becoming almost a feeding ground to the WWE, and you're seeing crossovers there, and AEW gets lost in the shuffle.
New Japan's its own type of breed. And AEW trying to be, and then
New Japan's not even what New Japan used to be. I mean, New Japan. It just there's a lot of things there. But all right, good stuff. You can follow Randy first and last name, Instagram and X. Good stuff there. And I'm going to save the best for last for you, Mr. Michaels, because obviously your life is flashing before your very eyes soon at Rebellion. Hopefully, you will try to stay trendy and keep up with everything and Joe Anderson did to you. And, this whole what happened now with Joe Anderson and Jay Wild. I won't get into it tonight on this show, but we'll see hopefully if you'll be alive next week. And we'll see if the show airs when it does. But I want to give you the floor, my friend. Give you some closing thoughts and anything else you want to plug, share, or say. And hopefully this won't be the last time we see you in case Jay Wild wants to tell you why and expose to you why you and Russell Cooper really aren't such good friends. But I'll pass the baton to you now, and I say nothing else.
Got you. Shout out episode 166. I called out the champion. I faced the champion at Rebellion, 1-on-1.
Beat Joe Anderson to get a shot at him. Yep.
Yeah, I did beat Joe Anderson. 1, 2, 3 clear as day in the middle of the ring. At the end of my little confrontation with Jay Wild, he wanted to squirt some spit some mist in my eyes.
Yes.
So in the main event, I saw my opportunity.
She did.
Jumped on top on him and started wailing on him.
But you were getting beat up, and luckily your best friend, your new best friend, Russell Cooper, came out there and evened the odds for you, though, luckily for you.
Yeah, luckily.
That was fun.
You're good.
I was trying to have fun. Am I saying anything that's not true? Am I anything you want to dispute? Hopefully, the good management of TBW isn't seeing this. Says, you know what? Maybe Alan shouldn't come on Sportswire anymore.
What?
It was a joke. I said, hopefully they don't see this. And, maybe Alan should, come on Sportswire more. Maybe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maybe it's those Raising Canes you've been having lately.
I haven't had no Raising Canes.
Well, make sure you pick those pants up next time, and make sure that your best friend comes out and continues to save you. But the good news for you is that You got Jay Wild 1-on-1, and you might become the TBW World Champion, and you'll become so big. You could be the champion of the biggest company in the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit, and that's even got a second YouTube page now. So you could be, who knows? This could be your backyard wrestling WrestleMania moment coming up here at Rebellion. And when is Rebellion going to be released? Well, stay tuned to Tennessee Backyard Wrestling on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook for more information, and TBW All Access. Anything else you want to say?
I think it does it.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you guys all run because I think I'm going to have a special guest come on here for a few minutes. So I'm going to let you guys all run. Yeah, well, you'll have to see and find out. But, fellas, I'm going to let you guys run. And thank you so much for your time. And anything else you want to say before I let you guys go?
No, I'll see y'all next week.
All right. That was, of course, our very good friends, Randy Dillon, host of the Hockey Fan Chat. Will be back in a few weeks. Shane Davidson, whose certainly wife has got the best taste, obviously certainly saved him. And Alan Michaels, who's in for the match of a lifetime here, coming up for sure at Rebellion. Stay tuned for more details. Fellas, we'll certainly see you soon. And can't wait to do this again. And Fridays are back in session on Sportswire Radio. See you guys soon.
Peace.
Take care, guys.
All right, that was Randy Dillon, Alan Michaels, and Shane Davidson. We'll see everybody next week, but we've got a special guest coming on here on Sportswire Radio. We're going to let him speak for a few minutes, have a special guest who wants to come on here and address the world. He's got something to say. He's always welcome on this platform, and wanted to give him a few minutes to address the world. Maybe he'll talk about a TikTok or two. And what do you want to do on a Friday night? What's on your mind? I'll spend 20 minutes here, 25 minutes with you. And what would you like to say? What would you like to ask the crowd here? And, I'm sure you're going to pile in. You're going to see this person's name. And if you are out there, we're on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579. Hit that sub button for us. We're also on TikTok now at Sportswire Radio. And speaking of people, had to let him on here for a few minutes. Wanted to give him the opportunity to address the world. I know it's unexpected, but James Taylor, just wanted to say hello for a few minutes. And how you doing out there? I know obviously tough shoes to fill. Shane Davidson and Alan Michaels. Alan Michaels has the match of a lifetime coming up at Rebellion, but you've obviously been playing Mario Kart. You've obviously been talking about on TikTok if Stone Cold's definitely coming back on SummerSlam. That TikTok video had me dying. That video you posted about Stone Cold in SummerSlam, and then
you never know. You never know.
Then you cooking those Disney. Was it Disney pancakes?
Oh yeah. How'd you like that, Tom? It was pretty entertaining, wasn't it?
I'm actually following you on TikTok. How you feeling right now? How you feeling? What's on your mind?
I'm doing awesome. How you doing, Tom? You look like you were bored.
No, not at all. We were talking WWE, trying to get the regular Friday show in the works, and had a couple of guys that decided that they couldn't, come on the show. And I thought, give the people what they want and see James Taylor before the next time he's here to get inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame as owner for ROEW. And just anything on your mind, anything you want to share to the world. Could be anything. Obviously, TikTok, you've been busy with that. 84,000 followers now on TikTok, and
84,000 and counting. And look at you. We got 800 subscribers. That's freaking awesome right
now,
there.
James, I got to tell you the news on that, by the way. I'm sure you've heard that.
Tell me.
So the news is that if I get 1,000 subscribers, I'm sure you've heard about this tattoo I'll be getting. But there's something else. I announced it yesterday on the show, is that when I get 1,000 subscribers, because I'm going to get 1,000, because obviously you're at 800, I'll get 1,000. So when I get to 1,000 subscribers, James, I'm going to do an all-night show. It's going to be open mic, open floor. If you want to roast me, if you want to take over the platform and host it, I'm letting the people basically take over Sportswire. So you getting me 1,000 subscribers, all of a sudden, I'm going to let you in control. I'm going to let you have the opportunity to basically it could be you, James Taylor. Could be you. You've obviously been so supportive. You've obviously been really one of the people that has helped Sportswire grow where we have subs of over 800. That's right. And so when I get to 1,000, and who knows when that could be, and I've put the other challenge out there. James, my birthday is on October the 7th. So obviously it's coming pretty quick. But here's a reason why I'm bringing up my birthday. My birthday is important because I want to get to 1,000 subscribers before my birthday. So I don't want any birthday gifts. Obviously, I might have a little bit more money than you. So I don't think I need any money for my birthday. I don't need a job for my birthday. I don't need a Big Man cameo from Big Man Cam. I don't need one of those. I don't need any of that. But what I want really is for you, the people out there, to get me to 1,000 subscribers. So that'll be my birthday gift. So I think today is July 19th. So you're out there. You've got until October 7th to help me get 1,000 subscribers. What do you think about that?
I think that's going to be very doable. I don't think that's going to be.
Well, Aaron Blaze said he thinks it's going to be done by next month. I think that's a little bit wishful thinking. But
who, me?
Aaron Blaze said that yesterday.
But you know what, Tom? You very could be. You really could get to 1,000 subscribers within a month. It's not hard. Look, I've done my channel that about, my music channel. I've been doing that for a little over 2 months.
You're a musician though.
I'm already almost at 700 subscribers.
I saw that. Well, I remember when you were like 40 subscribers. I was like the 40th subscriber. Now you're at like.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
And I think I gave 2 other subs.
Well, then there you go. You see, look at that. You helped me out, and I've got them all my channels subbed to you too. But we're gonna get you to 1,000.
Because one of them I think you own, so obviously that one you had to have subbed, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? You want something to talk about real quick? Let's go ahead and talk about it. So let's talk about what happened on the events of Face Off this evening.
I loved it. I watched it. I did watch it.
Yeah. So Jason Storm goes out there and runs his mouth.
I'm going to put that right up on the screen, James Taylor. I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. You see, Jason Storm came out and he runs his mouth about the creator and blah, 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 this and JX that, and wanted to take him to trial. Nobody there. He's talking to people that's not even in the ring. Clearly, the man's out of his mind, and that's why I posted that.
You didn't like his attire that he wore today? You didn't like that?
He said he was well dressed and that he eats chicken salads and stuff, but I really don't see it. He has apparently a problem with people who eat pizza. What do you think of that, Tom?
Well, that means I would probably not be on this earth without pizza, and I'm probably eating pizza when I'm off the air.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have yourself a good slab of pizza. And
I was impressed, by the way, James, before we do anything, that you actually had on your Instagram story about visiting New York there. Did you see that Instagram story you posted?
I just randomly came across this channel, and I saw this, and it just made me like, man, that's a beautiful view. And you know what? The Nemesis James Taylor.
I've actually been in places, by the way. I've actually been in places that look like that in New York. Believe it. I've been in a few.
Well, when I get to that YouTube stardom that I'm on my trend to, and you're going to be right there with me. I know you don't have to worry about money, but when I get to Tom Bryce money, I'm probably going to buy me a condo up there in New York so I could go there for a few days whenever I want.
I would love that. I would
do that literally. And you can come on over. We'll have a party. We'll just chill out. We'll have some friends over, and we might do podcasts right there live in the studio. What do you think of that?
I would say James Taylor. That's why you are the legendary James Taylor. And let me get to that footage of Jason Storm, because I know you don't want to see CJ Black out there. But
I don't mind talking about CJ Black. I was going to talk about him too.
You want me to go to Jason first? How about I tell you what? How about I go to Jason first, then come back to CJ? So we'll come back.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, because
let's go to Jason first, because I know Jason had a lot to say. So let's do that there.
Jason just running his mouth. And he obviously didn't like the fact that I cut to commercial during his entrance. I don't know if you saw that or not, but
I'll lower it.
I did cut to the commercial right there in the middle of his entrance, and he didn't like that too much. That was real funny too. I had the production team basically do this to Jason Storm during his entrance. I thought I needed to promote ROEW and get everybody's t-shirts up on for everybody to understand that they can buy all the ROEW merchandise they want. I'm working in the midst of taking Jason Storm's crap out, but there it is.
By the way, hello.
There you go, and you got your ROEW shirt. So
I have a lot of ROEW shirts, by the way, a lot of them.
It is. That's right.
Well, let's
You
go
already
to
know it.
Jason Storm.
So, and there's the owner, but he wanted to talk his trash and parade that belt around like he's the new world champion when he's not.
But isn't he a world champion though? He is a world champion.
He's a world champion in another company, but not my company.
You sure? But he's got the ROEW sticker still on there. Big Man Cam,
I
as you know.
he bought that from the gift shop there at the arena.
But Big Man Cam was here, a man that you were battling on TikTok with the other day, which I happened to catch, said that he wouldn't agree with it necessarily, but he can do what he wants with it, though.
Well, I mean, it's not really his word to say, and that's the thing. He doesn't want to talk to me face to face. And Big Man Cam, if you're out there, son, you don't call the shots here in ROEW. The nemesis James Taylor calls the shots. You see, I have the final say so. I have my board of directors. Everybody says what they need to do. Everything's written out, but I give the final say so. I'm the final checklist before it goes out to production. What do you think of that?
I mean, it's your company. I mean, I want to say hello to it. Atomic Titan was watching. I want to say hello to him, but I know we're talking ROEW, but it's your company. So, I mean, you're entitled to do what you want. But, I mean, as Big Man Cam had said when he was here, you don't want to get in the middle of Jason Storm. And,
well, who? Me? Because
yeah. Yeah. He said that you don't want to get him angry. Look at the run he's been on, and it's something that could really hurt ROEW.
I think if he's really smart, he won't piss me off. That's all I'm going to say.
And Zilla wants a hell yeah, by the way.
Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah. Definitely. Jason Storm likes to run his mouth. He thinks he's today's hottest commodity in all of backyard wrestling, but he's not. You know, he's a washed up, bald-headed bimbo who thinks that he runs ROEW and runs the backyard, and he's part of the BYW. What is that? Backyard wrestling? Is that backyard wussies? I mean, what is that? Beyond wussies? He can't wrestle wussies? What? Jason Storm.
Well, I thought maybe it's bring your water.
Bring your water? Yeah, he clearly got a lot of water weight, and he's been drinking too much of it. Maybe, I don't know. And there he is sitting there accommodating to CJ Black, acting like we can't hear nothing. And the guy looks like he's about to drive the hearse at a funeral home.
I got it.
He looks like the manager of a Arby's. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand.
As I was saying,
what he thinks.
Well, you didn't like that much. Obviously, you're the owner of the company, so you're probably not happy to see that.
I don't mind him competing, Tom. I mean, he's a hell of a competitor, but he runs his mouth too much. He just needs to know when to shut up, and he doesn't know how to shut up for some reason. I don't know.
Well, he certainly has his reasons, and he's going to obviously do something with JX, the matchmaker, who certainly Omen Black is no fan of these days. Here.
Well, Tom, what Tom, you know what? What if I was to fly you down and you get into a talking match with him and you out-talk him and put him down like you do some of these other people?
Mr. Storm?
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't really said anything negative about Sportswire. I mean,
no, of course not. No, but you can represent ROEW for me. I'll pay you a sum of money. You just come
I don't want your money, James Taylor. I can't take your money. You've been too much of a good friend to this platform. I can't take your money. This is not a payola, but there is something there, and
look at him showing the pictures and stuff. Where did he get those from?
That's a good question. I don't know. That you want to ask Mr. Storm?
I'd love to ask Mr. Storm, but I know he ain't got a set big enough to come back onto this platform.
Big Man Cam? You think Big Man Cam would know?
Big Man Cam wouldn't even know because he can't keep up with what the hell he's doing every single day. So, I mean, he couldn't even keep up the other night when we were on
Did you get 15? TikTok. I forgot. You didn't get 15,000 likes, though.
No, I didn't. I almost got 15,000 likes. I actually got 12,500. So,
well, that's 12,500, probably more than Mr. Storm, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 12,500 more likes than what he's ever gotten in his entire existence. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. I mean, that's fine.
Some would say though that Jason Storm is the one that's getting the most ratings in ROEW. Some would say that in the rating segments, he's the one that brings in the most viewers.
I've been sitting there trying to look at the ratings and trying to understand where the ratings are actually going. People are looking at stuff that Jason Storm's doing, but it's like they're just anticipating the time that he's going to get his ass handed.
Are
to
you
him.
trying to say that Jason Storm is like the Baron Corbin of the backyard and underground wrestling circuit, where they see him on and they move on to click something else? That's not fair.
Yeah, well, no, not necessarily. I think they're just waiting in anticipation to see him get.
I think
his
that's
ass
Tuesday
kicked.
show when Craven Rages here. Like, I think people will come in, they'll click on it and go, okay.
Yeah, you
Well,
might be right there.
Well, that's one I'm really. If there's one show I'm not looking forward to, that would be Tuesday show. Just to put.
Well,
it out
you know what? Anything can happen on that show. I mean, he's going to come on here. He's probably going to talk a little bit.
He's
of
the
his trash.
greatest, and I'm the backyard ruler, and I got this big thing, and BBC's, but Jason Storm is having no trouble with that. He's well dressed tonight. He's got a lot to say, and he's well spoken. He's growing some hair a little bit. He's just in a different mood, and he's obviously doing something to JX, the matchmaker.
He is, and JX is currently nursing and getting his recovery from his injury that Mr. Jason Storm delivered to him.
And we saw another injury he actually had on yesterday's show in Bremen, Ohio, where he was battling it out with, I guess your frenemy, Omen Black. I don't know what your relationship is with Omen Black. Are you frenemies? I mean, it's more, you've had such an interesting relationship with Omen Black. I think it's more of an interesting relationship with him than Atomic Titan of all these years. But actually, Mr. JX did something in the particular Summer Bash match with Mr. Black, and he was clutching his foot there, and that's also playing into maybe his injuries, I suppose.
Probably. The interesting thing is, Tom, is that Jason Storm just doesn't understand the hell he's about to receive from JX when JX returns.
Do you like the belt that Mr. Storm is wearing?
The belt, the little Velcro belt that he got down at the Dollar General. I mean, yeah, it's okay.
Not a TJ Maxx?
No, not TJ Maxx. I don't even think he's worth that. You know.
Wow.
I wouldn't piss on Jason Storm if he was on fire.
Management has said from the board of directors had said Storm said he was doing surveillance on JX to get the photo.
Yeah,
I guess the Patriot. Clearly. I guess does the Patriot Act still such a thing? I guess it's such a thing, huh? I guess
the Patriot Act.
Yeah. When I was in college, that was a big thing in my. I guess when I took law, that was the thing there. But there's something there. But Mr. Storm has obviously got a lot to say, and you know.
I don't understand that. He thinks that people are listening to him. It's more like, come on, let's just see you fight, or let's see somebody come out and destroy you. That's what we're wanting. That's what the fans want.
You think so, though?
He's boring the fans when he runs his mouth.
So you're saying he's the Baron Corbin of ROBW, because that was the line that they used to say about Baron Corbin. He would come on and
he might end up going to a developmental center if he ain't careful.
Is PWF still such a thing that he could go and do that? PWF Mid-South, Tristan Taylor?
Maybe, no, it's not maybe. Good. Hey, I heard they're hiring. They're looking for folks. So
maybe what? CBW was a thing. Storm was a top guy.
CBW, I think, would fit well in that ring. So yeah, there you go. I mean, that's fine. I'm not saying I don't want Jason Storm here, but I think
he doesn't like you though. He doesn't like you though.
I think I'm gonna have to. I have to pay for every second that he's in that ring.
Expensive, huh? Expensive cost there.
Yeah, it costs me. It costs production. It doesn't cost. I'm not paying him, but still, I let him have his little 10 minutes of fame.
Well, let's go back to the good guy, because the good guy obviously was here, and I thought you might be more impressed with what he had to say, because obviously he looks like he just came off the beach. Maybe he was like the Beach Boys, surfing in the USA. Everybody surfing in the USA.
But because of what happened, if you watched, he called out the referee and blaming the referee.
Oh, I saw it before I came on the air. Yes, I probably should have actually watched that rather than I said some of the things on Sportswire, because I wouldn't quite say I was falling asleep today, but it was definitely, there was some moments that wasn't like yesterday's show. In case you missed it, we had Justin Parsley and Soldier GP going where we thought Justin Parsley might be the new father to Soldier GP's son, and I'm not even going to go there. I feel like it was an episode of Ricky Lake or Jesse Jones, Jerry Springer, Maury Povich. We won't go there. So
wow, interesting.
Yeah, that was.
I must have missed that one.
you definitely missed that one. Anthony Steele came on his usual spot, and we were talking about Soldier GP's son Felix Jones looking like Justin Parsley, and Justin Parsley gave Felix Jones a jacket, but CJ Black thankfully doesn't have those problems, and he's definitely got a lot to say, and I know you're not so happy about it.
I don't care. I mean, I'd rather listen to CJ Black talk than I would Jason Storm. But
Mr. Black would like to add one comment. First of all, my best friend proved his point. JX is indeed a parasite. I mean, Omen Black didn't have not many nice things to say about him yesterday. And Jacob Collins wants a street fight. You did this to him, James.
No, I didn't do this to him. He chose that. What actually is the issue is that you did this to him, Mr. CJ Black, and I ought to fine you. I ought to fine you a couple of $1,000s for what you did to this referee. That is an official, an ROEW official, and you put your hands on him because you didn't get your way like a little prima donna. You slapped him across the face, and not only that, you owe him a brand new pair of glasses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fine you, CJ Black. I'm going to fine you for doing what you did here tonight.
Oh, that's so owner-like of you. So owner-like of you.
I know. I appreciate that, Tom. See, I appreciate your honesty here.
Oh, I have certainly tried, but I mean, so you feel for this referee, then you feel for him.
Well, do you really think the referee deserved it?
No, well,
your honest opinion, Tom. You're a fan. You're a fan.
Recommend referees.
Do you think this was cowardly of Mr. CJ Black or not?
I don't know if it's cowardly. I don't know if I would agree with these tactics. I mean, certainly, people have their reasons, I suppose, to do things, but we'll let the referee speak on air.
I can't apologize for something I didn't say. I was out. I got knocked out during that match. You saw that. Okay? I came to. I saw you getting pinned. I counted the 3.
I did warn you, right? I told you that you need to apologize to me. I gave you your chance, but you didn't.
Hey, hold on. Completely uncalled for. Are you kidding me?
Very uncalled for. What was the reason behind that? You know?
I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, wow. What a good guy he is. Wow.
I think he's an awful guy.
Take your blob of an ass out of my ring right now. Get out.
CJ Black.
Feel for it, Helen Keller. Get the hell out of my ring.
You're going to be fine for that, pal.
Oh, come on. I've seen about enough of this already.
I do notice the microphones are louder in ROEW. I have to say, I like the louder microphones.
Oh, come on. What the hell? Now he's beating the referee, Randall Schmidt, in the face.
Yes, it is.
Punches. What are you doing? Please, somebody, get out here and stop this shit. Oh, thank God. Jacob Collins, and he's got a chair. Let's go. Chases that little.
What is he thinking, you know?
Go on.
Dick Taylor told me I get to pick the match between us. We're doing a street fight.
Oh my God, what a selection by Jacob Collins. And look at the face of CJ Black. He's in shock.
Hey, that's what Jacob Collins wants.
Good guy, CJ Black.
Street fight.
Jacob Collins. In about 2 weeks here in a street fight, as Jacob Collins checks on the referee. Hold on. No. No.
Look at that coward.
Jacob Collins turned his back on CJ Black. Oh, come on. Of course, he low blows him. Now he's punching him right in the face.
A good guy
Come on
doesn't
now.
do that, Tom. A good guy doesn't do that.
Of course, blindsiding Jacob Collins once again. And now he hits him in the back with a steel chair. And Collins still trying to get away. And another shot with the chair. And the ref, too. No! He gets the ref as well. What the hell is he doing?
Well, what he's doing is being
He's
a
still
jackass.
got the
That's what
chair,
he's doing.
dude. Someone needs to put a stop to this, and hopefully the street fight will
You know,
be
if I was
exactly
there in
what is
Michigan,
needed.
I would have came out and I would have had a talk with him right there.
He's loading up again. Collins trying to get away. Oh my God. Bone crunching sound.
I mean, it's a way
Is
to
that
send
chair
a message. I got to give him that. He's sending a message to Jason Storm and letting him know how he feels about it, but still, at the same time,
Oh
it's
no,
not
we've
really
seen him
good
do
guy
this
likes.
before. He's trapping Jacob Collins' neck in between the chair. He's cranking back on it. Oh God, he's choking him.
Do not try this at home. Do
Jacob
not
Collins
try
has
this
nowhere
at
to
home.
go, nowhere to help.
Seriously, do
And
not
CJ
try
Black
this at home. Jacob Collins
has
just
just
coming
made
back and
Jacob
returning
Collins
to action.
pass
He ain't going
out.
anywhere. He ain't going
Yes,
anywhere.
With the
ladies
chair
and
around
gentlemen,
his
do
neck.
not try this at home. CJ Black is not a trained professional. He's uncoordinated.
Well, he might be
I'm just kidding.
trained, but this is serious pain, and obviously Randall Schmidt
It
will now be
is.
counting to 3. 1, 2, 3. Ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding. And the winner of this match, the good guy, CJ Black. And he's obviously, I guess you weren't impressed with the shorts, by the way, CJ Black was wearing. Would you like the shorts he was wearing on this
The
show?
stupid khaki shorts that he got from Kmart before they closed? No, I ain't impressed about them.
I would say I actually own a pair of khaki shorts, but I don't think I've worn them since I don't know when. But hey, it's
Hey, that's all right. It's all good. It's all understandable. But here it is. So CJ Black's gonna get to. Well, he don't want to face. He don't want to face Jacob Collins, but Jacob Collins wants to fight him in a street fight, and good guy, not really doing good guy things actually, and it's kind of.
So you'd say it's more bad guy things, right?
No, I think it's more of a douchebag thing, is what he's doing.
Oh, that's rather
a
bizarre.
Douchebag, CJ Black.
And I have a comment here from Darren. Hey guys, do you need a GM or some kind of law and order for the show?
I am
Who
the
is
law
Darren?
and order. Appreciate
Who is
the
Darren? Good
offer.
to see you again. And if you haven't, please hit the sub button for ROEW Backyard Wrestling, and also we're on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579. So please hit the sub button for both of us. But
yeah, Darren, if you haven't hit the sub button right here on Sportswire Radio, hit that sub. Appreciate
and
you coming in and
ROEW,
watching.
and also James Taylor's Taffy's Lounge. Please hit that Taffy's Lounge button because we want to
Taffy's Lounge. You know what, Tom? I hope that you enjoy some of my music that
I
made.
love
I've
hearing
been
those
getting better
music.
at it.
I think you've obviously shown that you've become now not only this world-renowned TikToker, this obviously world-renowned YouTube streamer, this renowned podcast host, renowned legendary wrestler, legendary owner, the greatest owner in the backyard of the underground wrestling circuit, a man who has more talents than Taylor Swift. You've now become a musician. I'm waiting for you to win the Grammy next year. You know, the Grammys are going to come out in February next year, and I'm all of a sudden waiting for you to win a Grammy next year. I'm waiting to see when they have the list of all the Grammy Award nominations. I'm sure I'll see Morgan Waller. I'm sure I'll see Olivia Rodrigo. I'm sure I'll see Kane Brown. I'm sure I'll see Taylor Swift, of course. I'm sure I'll see all the usual names. Katy Perry's got a new album out. Rihanna. I'm sure I'll see all those world-renowned artists, and I'll see James Taylor. Maybe it'll be Taft Taylor this time. Taft Taylor and, Grammy nomination.
I'm thinking about dropping James, and maybe I should just be the nemesis Taft Taylor or the Tyrant King. Just Taft Taylor. I don't know. What do you think, Tom?
Hey, you know what? If it worked for Prince once upon a time, he once initials and the artist formerly known as Prince, and that's obviously.
Hey, anything can happen, but I don't know about winning a Grammy or nothing like that. But I'm just here. I'm multi-talented. I like to do what I have fun doing, and I have fun making music now. I'm learning. I'm still learning as I go, creating the digital art that I do. All that art that you see in the wallpapers, it's all mine.
I'm going to put that up shortly in a second to let people know they need support. I'm going to put it up, but continue while I get James Taylor's legendary new lounge.
But the wrestling, I eat, sleep, and breathe pro wrestling, backyard wrestling, underground, anything that has wrestling in it. I live it. I live this every
and
day.
You know that this is the only platform where literally I can't speak, that we're going to get live coverage. And there it is, Taffy's Lounge, 639 subscribers. And get this, you want to buy him some coffee, you can do this. You want to get him on Patreon. You want to get him on Taffy's store. Merchandise is out there. He's on X already. I mean, he is everywhere right now. You've got to go out and support the legendary James Taylor. He is now on his way to becoming an award-winning musician. Are you going to go into acting next? Maybe movies is the next thing for you to go into movies? I mean, why not? I mean, listen, Hulk Hogan did it years ago. John Cena's done it. Stone Cold has done it. Triple H even did it. I mean, Roman Reigns has done done movies. Batista's done movies. I mean, why not James Taylor in movies? It could be. I mean, listen, maybe they're going to do it. Listen, Copper Dragon years ago helped get Peanut Butter Falcon on the road. I mean, maybe you're going to be in the sequel of it. Who knows? I mean, you could be on your way after you successfully conquer the music business to maybe go into movies.
You never know, Tom. Anything could happen. It just depends on what Hollywood offers me. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to definitely offer a lot. That's for sure.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I'm just having fun doing what I do, and as long as I'm having fun doing it, I know I can entertain people. And I think I'm doing all right with that.
I think you're doing a hell of a job, and I'm so excited. Obviously, a lot of things going on in ROEW. Wanted to speak here, for a few minutes, obviously give you that opportunity to be on here and just thank you. And, obviously want to get you on here before soon in the next few weeks to get you into the Hall of Fame once again for a second time. And I was thinking about maybe a date to set that in stone to put you officially into the record books as the greatest owner in the backyard, the underground wrestling. I'm dead serious.
Do you think that? Do you really honestly think that? Because
I would think
doing
so.
everything I can.
Look, let's think about this. ROEW, right? Here's where before we get into this date and make it official and putting you into the Hall of Fame a second time. Let's think about it. ROEW, 800 plus subscribers. ROEW's got Darkron now. ROEW's got the returning Jacob Collins. Aaron Blaze is here in the Prestige Tournament. Going to be wrestling with C Money. That's going to be a dream match. Can't wait to see that. You've got ROEW's merchandise store burning things up like the Midnight Oil. You've got Big Man Cam here. I mean, you've got Jason Storm, a world champion now. Maybe the ROEW Midwestern champion, maybe the DKW champion. CJ Black's this 2-time 7-star superstar. I already brought up Jack Delta. We've got Monoxide, Alex Cross. I mean, we've got, Randall Smith, maybe he's the best referee in the business. I mean, ROEW is where the stars play. I mean, this is where, Aaron Blaze, Jack Delta, and James Taylor call home and work together. And Darkron, who, by the way, hosted the greatest event in the underground and backyard wrestling circuit, not seen in almost years. And they all call ROEW home. So, yeah, I think you are the greatest owner currently in this circuit, and I think that's why I think a good date to put you in the Hall of Fame for a second time is August the 8th. We're going to call it here first on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. August 8th in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters, 10 o'clock Eastern time. James Taylor, August 8th, goes into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame now as the greatest owner in this sports circuit. You better believe it. It's official. James Taylor, you're going to be here into the Hall of Fame in a matter of days. And I think it's going to be...
That's about 3 weeks. That's not less bad at all.
Less than 3 weeks. Less than 3 weeks. Get a lot of ROEW coverage. Hopefully, we'll see some of your favorite ROEW stars come on and, have a chance to be able to talk about the future and everything else in between. And, it's going to be great. It's going to be so great. Think? Yes.
I got a question for you.
You can ask me 1,000 questions. I love when people ask me questions, by the way.
I watched a few. I've watched a lot of Summer Bash. I've enjoyed it. My name was thrown around a lot. Did you hear that? That my name, James Taylor, was thrown around on John Jovi's vlog. I've seen it in some matches. Even D'Angelo the Flame called me out in the middle of his match with Soldier GP and gave a stunner. Do you think that's a little bit of an impact in the backyard and underground circuit, that the ripples of James Taylor is out there, that they're even saying my name without
You've been in this.
What does that mean?
I'm going to answer this easily. You've been doing this since 98. 98. Oh, come on. You think I'm going to say that James Taylor... Listen, as far as I'm concerned, James Taylor is going to have an impact in 2098.
I mean... I just want to be recognized for what I've done for the business.
Those 84,000 followers on TikTok, those are special. Those are going to be around permanently. There's nobody in this circuit that has the following that you have. Nobody.
I'm 15,800 followers away from 100K. So that's not bad.
I'm just happy to get to 1,000.
Yeah, there you go. But hey, you got more following on Instagram than what I do.
I'm actually
probably
Instagram,
on Twitter.
Tell you the truth, Instagram, Instagram and Facebook, I'm very good. But yes, I do think that there's no question that you have an impact. What you've done in TBW, what you've done in ROEW, what you've done with the Nemesis sessions, what you've done here, what you've done in terms of the reels, what you've done on TikTok, what you've done in those great years in TWA, all the things you TWF, TWA. I think I want to be on a TWA flight sometimes for being Sportswire shows. But the facts is that what you've done in this sport, with everything, the insight that you've given, the advice that you've given, you've been obviously so giving with your time. I don't think there's any man that comes on this platform that is so generous with their time than James Taylor. Listen, think about it. All you could be doing all day is making Stone Cold reels because that's what you get paid for. No. There's a serious point for a second. You don't have to be here on Sportswire. You don't have to have the Nemesis sessions going. All you can do is sit all day and be on TikTok. That's what you do. You're very successful on that. There's no denying what you do on TikTok.
As of my 500 subscribers on that Taffy's Lounge, and I just got a soft monetization. When I hit 1,000 subscribers, like you, when I hit 1,000, I'll be a YouTube partner. Right now on TikTok, I have my first income stream is just through my videos. I have a second income stream on TikTok through my ad videos. I don't know if you've come across one of my ads yet, but one day I know you will.
I actually have seen the ads, yes.
So I get paid through two ways through TikTok, and then I'm about to get paid the third way through my YouTube of my Taffy's Lounge. I'm trying to get my Taff Taylor one.
Well, the YouTube
can't get
is
the
a good
watch
one.
time
I mean,
hours up.
listen,
So
the YouTube is great. I mean, listen, I'm not doing this for the money, but obviously to get 1,000 subs, we know how it works on YouTube. You get monetized. I'm actually, ironically, monetized on Facebook. I actually get monetized on Facebook because I have over 2,000 followers on Facebook. So
nice.
But thankfully I'm not doing. But I was even thinking we should move up the induction ceremony. How about one day earlier, August the 7th? Actually, would you like to come
whatever
earlier?
day you want. You
Let's
tell
do
me
earlier.
the day.
I want you here. I love when you're here on this platform. So I want to make it earlier, and I want to say hello to Mr. DG Colt because he has been so generous and so kind with this man's time. And he says, I don't know if I'm a great human. I mean, I'm a great human when I'm not interviewing TBW. I'm only kidding. No, I'm actually, it was a joke. Because I know it was a joke, but I think
you're good. So you are a good human. A lot of people appreciate you.
No, I appreciate people like DG who were always here, always give me good advice, always give me good feedback, and it's people like him that give me a chance to talk to people, and we try to have fun, and maybe we got to get DG in the Sportswire Hall of Fame sometime.
If he's willing to come on, I don't think I've ever seen the man's face.
Well, how about I just give him a Hall of Fame certificate? Can I give him a certificate?
If he's willing to accept one, I don't see why he wouldn't take one. I mean, you know that TNJ T-shirt? He helped me come up with
I know that from over a year ago, and I own that copy. And I know Anthony Steele's logo. I know our friends at NEW. I know Jake Matthews' logo. All those guys who I'm pretty much happy to call friends of the show, and they all have their logo work done from Mr. DG. So I would like to give him one. So if Mr. DG, he doesn't have to come on the platform, but I could certainly send him a certificate.
I need to do a business plan with Mr. DG for a new shirt idea, and then the more I sell on those, I need to give him
you don't like the ROEW James Taylor shirt?
Of course I do. Yes, I do. And actually, the board of directors helped me come up with that logo.
That was so kind of those.
So definitely get one of those if you haven't gotten one of
those.
And
DG wants to tell you that he does have videos with his face on there, just to let you know.
Oh, okay. Well, then I need to go on there and check out his.
You should check there. You should check there. You should definitely check there. But anything else you want to say? Anything else related? So we'll I'm sure you'll be here. Well, I should let you know Anthony's going to be in the Hall of Fame again for being the most controversial figure on Wednesday. So I'm sure you could pop by and, greet Anthony. Yes, he's being inducted as the most controversial figure in backyard and underground wrestling history. So I'm sure that you can get a chance. I'm sure you can come by and say hello to Anthony.
If I'm invited, yeah.
Well, it's actually, I'm the master of ceremonies. So technically you just got invited.
Oh well, then I gladly accept the invitation.
Because it's my Hall of Fame, and contrary to what some people might say, actually the true creator of Sportswire Radio, the true proprietor of the platform, is actually yours truly. So,
Amen. There
so
you go.
you
That's
can
all
be
that
invited.
matters.
I mean, Justin Parsley's here tomorrow. I mean, you could be invited to that. I mean, as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. That's a guy I'd
I'm
like
sure
to
you
get my hands on.
you would.
Yeah, I'd
You
like
would, but
to.
Jacob
I'd like to
Collins
go
wants
toe to toe with Justin Parsley one day. I think that'd be
Jacob
an
Collins
interesting
wants to
matchup.
say, everyone saw the look on your face, CJ, the look of fear and purr. Usually you have to attack me when my back is turned. Jacob Collins must be like the biggest hard luck wrestler in the world, because he gets beat up from everybody. Big Man Cam has been talking about him for weeks on Sportswire. Jason Storm has famously nearly killed him in a church. We've got CJ Black, who nearly decapitated him once again. And he was, oh, by the way, his return match was against Aaron Blaze. I mean, Jacob Collins, I mean, he's really just unlucky, maybe.
Maybe unlucky, but you can't deny that he's probably got one of the biggest hearts in this business. I mean, he's not afraid to back. He's not going to back down from any challenge.
Well, he's going to need that. I mean, do you think that he'll be able to recover this time?
I hope so. I really do. Gonna send prayers for a speedy recovery. That looked like it hurt with that chair. So Jacob Collins,
I think it did hurt.
Jacob Collins, you got 2 weeks. Take care of your body and get yourself ring ready and match ready, and then bring the street fight. I recommend wearing some jeans to the ring, not your normal gear. Wear some jeans to a fight. You're not. I hope he understands, Jacob. If this is any type of motivation for you, you're not going into a wrestling match. You chose street fight. I hope you understand the meaning behind street fight. You're going into a fight. You're not going into a match. You're going into a fight with a guy who clearly isn't afraid to take the cheap way out. So go into that match prepared, but go for a fight like your life depends on it. And I hope and pray that you beat the hell out of CJ Black, because he deserves an ass whipping, period.
Well, we'll see if BYW is around, and we'll see if Mr. Collins will be able to recover. And prayers for Jacob Collins. Bryn's YouTube name, I think, is DG Colt. I have to find it here. Let me see if I have the YouTube channel before we go on.
It's DG Colt, I think.
That's what I thought I had on my YouTube, but I don't.
You know what? I've been curious, Tom, while you're looking at that. I see you do some of these shows. And
yes.
Son, I just feel so bad for you, because it looks like you get some of these people, these guests that come on here, that look like they're starstruck by you or something, because you said,
well, you really want to know? I mean,
I want to know what you think about da 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 da. Tell me about that. And they get here and go.
Do you want to know what I really think on that?
I'd like to know.
Well, it's funny you said that, because I don't want to say the guests, but there have been guests that have been on this platform. I won't say their names, but they've said, I'm a big fan of yours. I watch you and I'm really nervous and I'm intimidated I've seen you. And, I had one guest that said, I saw what you said to Judgment, the way you cut him off on the microphone. You were like, wow, I watch you all the time. And, you're kind of like this celebrity. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, you're in the ring.
They're starstruck by you, Tom, because you are a voice.
I'm starstruck by you, James. Every time I'm on this air, I can't contain.
Don't patronize me. I said these guys are starstruck by you because I would consider you the voice of the Backyard and Underground.
I have certainly heard that, and I obviously there are certainly guests that have come on here, and you could certainly see where it's what it is. I mean, I want to certainly say we appreciate those that want to come on, but yes, not everybody is James Taylor, not everybody is Anthony Steele, not everybody is Jake Dvorak, not everybody is Omen Black and Soldier GP or Justin Parsley or Not everybody is Jack Delta or Aaron Blaze.
Not everybody is Tom Bryce.
Well, I would hope not. I
Give yourself some credit, man.
Oh, I don't think we want people that would have these, big money.
You got the stylish chops from the 1970s still rocking. You're rocking it in 2024. You got the long stringy hair. You got the microphone.
I think I'm basically.
You ain't afraid to back down either.
Well, I think I was probably left out of a Nirvana album, but that's okay.
Whatever the case, yeah. You're rocking it. You got your style. Yes. I dread the day that you actually shave that shit. And then you get on here. I'll be like,
I'm not planning to shave it. I don't worry. I'm actually not planning to shave it. Hopefully, I'll when I'm. But let me get to Mr. I actually now have some comments. Mr. Collins. Well, let's just say yes. To answer your question, there are some shows that are pretty boring. Yes, there are shows that are extremely boring. There are other shows like yesterday's show that it was like we were on Jerry Springer.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
It was like Jerry Springer when all of a sudden Justin Parsley came on and Soldier GP and his son. And yes, it was definitely, there were shows like that. Then there were shows like JJ Stevens and Devin Adams who were from the promo world. Devin Adams is in the promo world and a bunch of these promo feds and JJ Stevens. That was interesting. Osiris was here. Osiris was a good guest. Osiris was ESW. I think you popped in for Osiris. Osiris was a good one. We had Vegas Storm, who you interviewed. Vegas Storm was a very good interview. Vegas Storm was good.
Well, what did you think of him? He's a good guy.
Vegas Storm was like, I would equate him to be like the Derek Jeter of like backyard wrestling, just like almost like proper, but could really carry himself and conduct himself like he's just a total professional, like Copper Dragon. To me, Copper Dragon's a class act, professional, not going to hear him say anything bad, just totally represents himself in the company well. Vegas Storm, to me, there were some really good ones this week. There were some other shows that recently, I would needed a lot of caffeinated beverages, but then this week we had there was some really good shows. Osiris was good this week. Yesterday's show was interesting. We had Devin Adams and JJ Stevens. That was fun. That was a fun show. I mean, there was some shows that were really good this week. Other shows that, were what they were. And then it was yesterday. I mean, yesterday was what it was. But I may have the odds stacked against me, but I always find a way to push through. I'm not a two-time world champion for nothing. It's true. Two different promotions.
You're right.
I agree with James. People talk all this stuff, then they come on here and clam up. Then poor Tom has to try to get them to talk for an hour.
Yep.
Yes. Well, you know what? To be honest, yes.
I come watch sometimes, and then I'll see somebody just like they're just stuck in a deer and stuck in headlights, and I'm just like,
I'm going to be completely honest. Tuesday show with Craven Rage and the WCE guys is going to be exactly that show. I'm going to be honest. Darkfire, Nicholas Crenson, Craven Rage. It's going to be even yesterday's show to start off with it was Darkfire again. Love Darkfire dearly, but he's sitting there with his hands folded. I mean, you're going to get. Unfortunately, this is the community service show. Tuesday's show is community service. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. Tuesday's show at WCE. Sean Joby is going to try his best to save the show, but that's where we're going to have to, I'm not going to put my hand up my sleeve, but there will be, I'm sure, some regulars to come on because otherwise that show is going to be.
If you need some motivation, just give me a call.
Oh, I'm sure that we'll have that. But yes, Tuesday's show coming up is going to be community service. There are other shows that are here on Sportswire. I don't want to say the guest, but they, definitely community service. Let's just use the word. I think community service. I'm going to be honest. We were supposed to have CJ, the Alpha Junt, here yesterday, and I was kind of like really happy he wasn't here because I was tired, and that was going to be another one of those shows. Community service. You could be community service, my get out of jail free card for some of the things I've said on Sportswire. But this week we had some really good shows. Comatose. I don't know if you heard of Comatose. Been a guy around, and he was a really good interview. He was like one of those guys that was really like meat and potatoes, but could talk, conducted himself very well. We had a guy from Australia. I don't know if you saw that, Yoshi Matsuda, but I'll tell you off the air, maybe some of the things he went through. And, we had Aaron Blaze was here last week, and Aaron Blaze was Aaron Blaze. So I think this week was good, but yes, this month we've had some community service episodes. And Tuesday's community service episode is brought to you by WCE.
Okay.
But yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Tom is the Jim Ross of the BYW Underground.
I don't know about that. I think Jim Ross has more of a cowboy hat, and
Yeah, maybe you're like
know.
the Tony Schiavone. No, I'm just kidding.
I think I'm the Tom Bryce of the backyard.
You're the Tom Bryce. That's right. You
Anything
are
else?
Tom Bryce.
Anything else you want to share here before we move on for the evening and sign off? Before I can.
You know what? Real quick, why don't we have something real funny? Did you see the clip I made, the little TikTok, the YouTube short I did of on my Taft Taylor channel?
I can actually pull that up, and CJ Black wants to chime in and say, Comatose is a good kid and a CJ Black fan, so he's all right by me. Yes, he actually mentioned that on the air, and he's actually said that off the air. Yes, Comatose is a good guy, actually. He's had a really good story, just a really good, I would say he is I know people say a lot of things about, before I bring the clip up, trampoline wrestling. His company in Oregon, probably the most high quality trampoline wrestling company, BTW Wrestling, I've watched. There's some trampoline feds I watched, and you can see who they were, but his company is very good, and he's going to be here coming up very soon in 2 weeks, actually, to go into the Hall of Fame. But yes, I'm going to pull up that James Taylor short. Give me 1 second. I have it synced.
4,636 views just in
but you get that for like lunch, breakfast, and dinner. Why are we surprised?
Well, I just thought I just tried something different, and people want to say Stone Cold, so I gave them some Stone Cold. You know what I mean?
Where's the volume? Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
What? You want a beer? What? You want a shot of whiskey? What? Vodka? What? Anything? What? Dude, you wasting my time if you want to come into my office and talk this what trash to me. What do you want?
It's annoying, isn't it?
It is annoying.
I came in here to give you a breathalyzer, Steve. You're running the show, drinking beers. Can you say the alphabet backwards?
Well, I can whip your ass backwards.
That's exactly what I'd do to anybody else that talked to trash to me. I'd whip their ass backwards.
Yeah, but we know you can talk. You're James Taylor. We know that you can talk. We know that, you got all those great things. And CJ Black, sorry that Zilla's a fan of CJ Black, but James, sell ROBW back to Jason. All the Stone Cold stuff is killing me. It's starting to turn us into TBW.
It's getting you the views, isn't it, son?
Are you guys turning? Well, you are a TB. Is the plan to turn ROBW into TBW? Because you were.
No, I don't want gimmick infringement, and I don't want a bunch of jokes having huge returns all of a sudden. This is straight like wrestling. I mean, we have the highest quality in all of wrestling. Period. And
it is high quality. I will tell you that. No, seriously, ROBW. I will say it. I am always excited to talk ROBW. There are some companies that we get on here on Sportswire, and it's, community service. It's all wrestling matters. But when ROBW's on, I'm fired up. I could talk ROBW 24/7, but unfortunately, we are all wrestling matters.
Do you think there'd be any excitement or any shock value if James Taylor decided to finally walk through the curtain of ROEW to slap somebody in the face?
I might have a heart attack. I might drop dead on air.
I don't know.
From the excitement.
How did CyberSlam go? I saw that.
CyberSlam's today now, New York time.
Well, like I saw you do some stream or something.
Oh, well, that was the show
last night.
That was the show with let's just say some interesting things happened with Soldier's Son and Justin Parsley, and Omen came on, and they talked about father and son, and they talked about grandmothers, and they talked about mothers, and
his mother's his sister.
They talked about some things, and Jacob Collins said that he would love to see you slap CJ and Jason Storm.
Oh, that'd be no problem. I'd smack him like a little twig there.
Maybe they could come to you guys. Could ROEW set up in the James Taylor Arena?
You know what, Tom? When I get Tom Bryce money, that's one thing I'm going to be building. I'm going to build a detached. I'm going to have myself an arena of my own, like a little small venue one. And I'm going to put a 20 by 20 ring in there, and I'm going to fly all those ROEW guys down. I'm going to fly anybody down that's willing, and I'm going to put on the greatest show ever.
Yeah, it's so funny you said that, because in New York City, I would love to in my backyard put up a backyard, but I don't think it would really go over well.
No, probably not.
No, it would be
Cops be over there in a heartbeat.
Well, I think my pool would have to go instead of I'd have to make the pool over the ring, and don't
Maybe
know
you
how.
should fly out to Cali, or do you just your home's New York?
I don't know. I mean, go to California. What's in California?
More money, maybe? I don't know. Or is it just about the same?
I think California would be more difficult to live than New York. You're starting over. I don't know. Well,
You know what? You're right. You're absolutely right.
Maybe we'll have to go to Alabama. Maybe we'll move to Alabama.
We're gonna fly you down personally.
Maybe Alabama.
We're gonna open that show. This is just I'm putting it all on Blueprint. You know, this isn't something that's happening right now, but this is all on Blueprint. But my dream is we have the show, but at the beginning of the show, Tom Bryce is gonna open the show with a little interview segment with somebody, and don't know who yet, but it'd be interesting and have you there. And it's all about I'm gonna put a hashtag all wrestling matters in the center of that ring too.
I put it up on Instagram today, but I would do an interview. I don't want to make it about me, but CJ says you can't reach that high to slap him and Jason.
Okay, well, we'll see about that.
What do you think about one of these days CJ Black coming back to Sportswire? He's kind of due for an appearance. What do you think?
I think he's just pussyfooting around. He's
Why
just
not
scared,
though?
you know.
To be fair, he's not like these other guys that come on here that you would safely describe would be boring, be mid, or guys that you said would be starstruck. He's none of that. He would come on here, and I think a lot of people would like to see him on Sportswire.
Yeah,
I think maybe a lot of people would like to see him. Maybe he could slap Jason. He slapped him with Jason Storm. Could slap Jacob Collins on the air. I don't know.
Well, maybe he should slap some sense into Jason Storm, his quote.
No, I think they're BYW. They're best friends. But I think maybe down the road in the next couple of weeks, maybe if Mr. Black wasn't busy, maybe we could have him here.
Yeah, Black, why don't you come on to the Tom Bryce show? Come on to Sportswire Radio and talk.
Maybe he could come with somebody else, and they could kind of have a chat. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some ROEW names out there that are here right now, and maybe they would like to, go back and forth with each other, and maybe they could, iron their differences out. I don't know.
I haven't got to have that one-on-one interview with some of my staff, and that being CJ Black. He's heard my announcements. He said my name on the shows, but we haven't had a one-on-one meeting yet. I mean, why not?
Well, maybe Mr. Black will be back.
And I'm promoting the company, but CJ don't want to come on here and help promote the company.
Well, because he's a busy man. He's BYW. He's a 7-star superstar 2 times. He's a very busy man. He's
busy with his thumb up his ass constantly.
Well, I don't want to get into that. I wouldn't want to get into that because, after all, I did mention the fact that I didn't want to talk about BBLs with Shane Davidson and Alan Michaels with Bailey and BBLs, and I basically said that Bailey might have something that might be described more than what J-Lo has or Kim Kardashian has, and just go on Google with that. So I won't go there and talk about those things, but maybe in the next few weeks, maybe we'll see Mr. Black return to Sportswire with maybe some of other people in the ROEW roster. Just throwing it out there. It doesn't have to be. Mr. Black's a 2-time 7-star superstar, and he's obviously high in demand, and he's got a lot of friends out there, and he's got all the ladies chasing him out there in Michigan, and he's obviously got some new khaki shorts and some Beach Boy looking shirts, and maybe he'll do the Komoko. Is it the Komoko? The baby? Let's move on here. We're getting to the witching hours. We'll move on here. Wouldn't recommend living in Alabama, but actually, I'm going to dispute that because I actually know somebody. I actually had somebody whose son that I knew moved to Alabama and loved it down there. I will actually say I know somebody in my neighborhood that their son moved down there about 10 years ago, and they loved it down there. So
you can get you a really nice house.
I'm sure I could buy a mansion in Alabama
for around $500K, easy.
I guess I could buy a mansion then, huh?
I mean, literally, you could buy a mansion for under $1 million down here, easy. Birmingham, Alabama's got some of the nicest neighborhoods, and so does Huntsville, Alabama.
Well, you know what? Maybe Alabama's in the cards. Who knows? But
I mean, if you want to double your money, like you could probably sell your properties in New York City for a substantial amount of money, Tom. Come down here, buy
Well,
something
I will say this
equivalent
on the air before
and
I get to
triple your
Mr.
money.
Black, before we sign off. My uncle owns a house in Brooklyn, New York, which is where he lives is right by the subway. And he has this little, it looks like an old gingerbread, like cardboard box. And it's worth well over $1 million. And literally it's like, like a cardboard box. I mean, it's basically, so,
Wow.
yeah,
Tom's
but
swimming in the money.
he's definitely he's an art dealer. He makes me look poor, so he's definitely he's swimming in the money, and I'm sure his family members are not me, thankfully, because I'm obviously a very humble man, and thankfully I have done well in my own life. But I'm sure his siblings are waiting for him to croak in 30 years. But that's
shit.
yeah. Well, they're definitely waiting for that. But the good news is I'm not like that, and he seems to appreciate he follows me on Instagram, so that's the good news. Is I certainly want to make sure our followers on Instagram and TikTok that they stay alive for 30 years. So thankfully, I am very humble like that. But you know what? And that's good news. See, Mr. Black will be here on Sportswire in a few weeks. How about that?
How about that? But what does he got to clear a schedule? He ain't got no schedule. He's got one job. ROEW.
It's a busy job. He's a 7-star superstar. He's no Craven Rage out there. He's no C2K. He's got to really hone his craft.
I know, because Craven Rage could out-talk CJ Black.
You do realize he's coming here Tuesday, and
yeah, I know. Just wait till Tuesday. I bet Tuesday's show is going to be more entertaining than when CJ Black comes on here.
I actually think that Tuesday's show will be the day that DG Colt's prayers will come into handy, his patience, because that's going to be the day that I'm going to really say that DG, I love you, man. But before we sign off, I own my own house, and I'm now just 30. Yeah, it wasn't about. That's amazing. That's pretty wild. That maybe means I should be in Alabama. But anything else you want to say before I retire for the evening and rest my voice for tomorrow's, I'm sure, 3-hour marathon with Justin Parsley and friends. And I'm sure you'll pop in. I'm sure some of the usual suspects will pop in on this one because Justin Parsley's going into the Hall of Fame for a 4th time. And, he's the
4 times?
He's the inaugural new PWF champion.
Yeah.
Well, he beat Soldier GP, so
yeah.
Well, you're going in for a second time. You're going in for a second time, August 7th. So.
I mean, I'll come on here, but I don't want to. I don't want it to get stale if I come on here and people get.
Dude, for you coming on would never. When is it ever stale when you come on here?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, what do we got right here? I mean, a little bit ago there was about 7 or 8.
I got 99. Because I'm on X also. You're forgetting that. There's a 1.
Oh, okay.
You're actually forgetting. When you see on YouTube numbers, that doesn't count X. Because I have 3,400 followers on X. So you people keep forgetting that I'm on other platforms. And I have my internet radio station, which gets another 10 to 20 listeners per hour. So you're talking about on
internet
YouTube,
radio.
You get 100+ views, but it's really like on the other platforms, you're getting like the same amount. So
I wonder what my episodes have on those. You should tell me later.
On what, X?
On like X, on your radio station, everything.
I could tell you on X when we get off the air. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, so I think we've said enough. I had fun. I'll post, I'm sure, some of this on Instagram. See you tomorrow. Hillbilly Tilly, who, by the way, give him credit. He was on YouTube all day. He was on AJ Morgan's stream, who interviewed Victor Thorne from the Alliance Wrestling League. He was here with us for a while, and he's everywhere on YouTube. And he's also shared my clip from yesterday's show, Wednesday's show, and he showed it for his followers on tonight's show. So he's been sharing all my stuff. I think and by the way, Hillbilly Tilly, he's going to be making an appearance on Friday's show next week. He's coming back to Sportswire also. He's going to do some analysis work. He's going to be an analyst for a while. Also, okay. CJ Black's got a question before we go. He'd like to ask a question. That's his question.
What's your stupid question?
Well, how can you call it stupid, though, to be objective? You have to be, as an owner, don't you have to be objective?
Well, he's just so full of shit half the time, Tom, I can't buy it. So, I mean, it's fine.
Is it the glasses throwing you off?
The glasses piss me off. You look like you got those from Claire's.
Oh, I haven't.
Kid's store.
I heard of Claire's, actually. I was like, wow, you went the Claire's route there, huh?
At
least you didn't go Mike. Like. Oh, I mean, I don't know if he got them from Claire's. I don't know if
I don't know where he got them. I could care less. But
that's a good question.
You know,
is that the question?
He's got all the damn ladies out after him like he claims he does. Well, he must be paying a shitload of child support. That's why he's so busy.
Well, I wouldn't want to get into the middle of child support and who's paying that, because that's obviously something that's personal. Because we had that was all last night's show with Justin Parsley and Soldier GP and Omen Black and Felix Jones. The last thing I want to do is get into people's personal business. The last thing I want to do is get into.
I like getting in people's personal business.
I don't like to get into that because I think we should stick to the wrestling. But Mr. Black, if you do have a question, certainly let us know, because I'm ready to retire for the year.
You got 60 seconds. Good guy.
We'll
60 seconds. Type that shit up if you have to.
I thought he would have had it already by now, because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to retire now. I'm ready to retire for the evening.
Yeah,
we're ready.
That's
we're ready.
Right. Well, Tom, you've done a great job this week so far. So just keep at it and keep.
No,
on
I'm
the grind.
planning to.
Don't burn yourself out, though. I mean, you
no.
Maybe a day off. Maybe take your day off.
Well, I'm here tomorrow.
You're considering it. You're not.
No, not really. The people want it. A lot of people message and say how much they want to see Sportswire on, and there's 100 people out there watching. So I don't think I'll be doing it.
There it is. That's the grind, though. You put in the grind, but I bet you by this time next month you'll have 1,000 subscribers.
I think I put the challenge out there, my birthday. So, all right, I think I've got enough. I've got to the point. Mr. Black, we'll give you 20 seconds. I'm going to give you the 2:24:45. So if I don't get the question by 2:24:45, I'm going to say, give me the question tomorrow.
Sayonara.
And sayonara. So I'm counting.
He's counting. CJ Black.
I'm counting.
See, that's what he does. He just likes to sit there and procrastinate and waste time. Tom, it's been great.
Thank you very much. We will see everybody tomorrow, 10:30, or today, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with Justin Parsley. I'll have Jackson Law the following, but Mr. Hardcore is here as well. And James Taylor was unexpectedly here. We talked some ROEW. Before that, we had Alan Michaels, Shane Davidson, and Randy Dillon talking SmackDown, WWE, and more. And I'll see everybody later.